The bridge has been placed under emergency inspection, though no civilian casualties were reported. This incident follows a recent Ukrainian drone strike.
South Koreans are voting to elect a new president following the impeachment of Yoon Suk-yeol over martial law allegations. Joseph Eckerson reports.
Yoon's removal from office stemmed from accusations of constitutional violations during a national security crisis.
A fire broke out at a major oil facility deep inside Russia amid ongoing drone exchanges with Ukraine. Russian emergency services reported that the blaze was extinguished after 7 hours.
The incident underscores the escalating tensions between the two nations.
Smoke from Canadian wildfires is affecting air quality across several U.S. states, including Minnesota and Wisconsin. Authorities have issued health advisories urging residents to limit outdoor activities.
This is News in 60 with Alan Edwards.
Ukrainian officials report a new attack on the Kerch Bridge, a key supply route linking Russia to Crimea.
Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Little yellow, as Bob Ross would say.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
I don't know. I just don't know. White beard, bald head, t-shirt. What's going on here? Good morning, folks. Will that end on its own? Let's see if that ends on its own. See, you probably guessed by now we have a button pusher in the background. There's somebody on a phone with a finger, and every time we have somebody on a phone, StreamYard goes, bleh! They don't like people on phones. They work, sort of, kind of, but they fuck up everything. And so the technical difficulties we've already experienced this morning are because of some certain phone guy in the background there. Good morning. It's a hump day, right? Wednesday. You know, I'm a guy who appreciates a good hump, but this doesn't feel like a good hump. This feels like a very treacherous hump. A hump that might need a little lubing. It is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. Is that correct? Is that correct? With the calendar? Yeah, June 4th. So I messed up, and you know what? My AI clone will start a sentence like that, or a AI video. I think I messed up. I don't know where and how in video got my voice and thought, you know what? You could use a little bit of an English accent or something not Brooklyn. But so there's this thing out there now on Weed World with AI taking my voice. I did not ask it to. I didn't give it consent to. Took my voice and did something weird with it. Made it sound like Carl or something. Anyway, So I screwed up. In the promo, it looks like Guy Morris is supposed to be here this morning, and Amy Jo Ellis is supposed to be here in the first hour. Guy Ellis is supposed to be here tonight. There is not going to be a show tonight. Look how yellow I am. And so he's going to be tomorrow night, and Amy Jo Ellis is actually in the second hour. So we got nothing to do but watch Button Pusher in the back there going for the food truck and the finger on the thing. For the first hour, and that's fine, whatever. When I first met GD, right around the first time I met GD, first time I met him was actually on this program with some kind of ex-Border Patrol Nazi or something. But then he had me on this little GD so way past blah show, and first thing he brought up was I did a gig stinking. Not like my music stunk, although sometimes it does. I stunk because I was doing like a double or something. I didn't have time to go from the brewery that I was playing at, bark, to the evening gig that I was playing at. I didn't have a shower in between. I have to go kill a dog. Anyway, I don't know if you can even hear her barking. My wife is supposed to control the dog. She's not controlling the dog. So GD brought up the fact that I told a story about playing a gig stinking. Now, today is one hell of a day for me. I got this little thing going on here. Well, by the way, Amy Jo Ellis is going to be talking kumbaya and souls and blah. Kumbaya, magical. And right after this, I have to go to a gig. And my wife hired a plumber to install a new shower head. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take a shower before my gig today. And I'm still looking a little too yellow for me. What's happening with my yellowness? Do I have some kind of thing going on? I have a yellow thing going on. Anyway, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take a shower before my gig. So I might go stinking. And then I have a rehearsal tonight at Tony Walker's house for the big luau whacked from Knock 'em Dead comedy. And I'm going to stink for that because I'm not coming home from that. Because why would I drive Long Island twice, all the way, blah, blah. One hell of a day. One hell of a day. So that's all I got for you. I'm going to stink. Okay, that's all. We'll say hello to the guys, and hopefully they don't stink. I think Steven might have a little stink going on. Or maybe that's GD by the food truck. I can't tell if it's a food truck or Steven. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Go. You know what? Sponsored. We're brought to you by everybody who's go to minddogtv.com and hit the merch button and just buy everything. Before I even go there, though, I want to bring up something. Yesterday, I said I offered an apology, a heartfelt apology to Warren Green, the former program director of WNYG 1440. Now, evil Ian, not the evil part is important. He says I owe an apology to everybody on the planet. I think he said everybody on the planet. Now, that's kind of an exaggeration because I have not had an opportunity to affect all the people on the planet. But I would gladly look. I'm making me more red here with the you. Hey, you. I would gladly apologize to all the people on the planet that I have had an effect on, a negative effect. I guess that's my Court of Atonement message before Amy Jo Ellis gets on here. I'm sorry, world. I'm sorry for who I am. I'm sorry for the things I've done. And now we can move on. And one last thing, because that apology was about Warren Green calling me a ineffective, incompetent shock jock wannabe. And he's right. Because I have squandered an opportunity to grow this program on the backs of GD, John Beavers, and Blind Mike. I could have built that into an actual War of the Roses or something, and got some attention by look who's attacking who, look who's going negative now. And I'm not good at monetizing conflict. It's probably too late for me to learn how to monetize conflict. So I apologize for that. Now, the last thing, Ian also said, ironically, I'm an apologist for Don Imus. I think I have to cop to that. Somewhat of an apologist, but I don't think, listen, I don't think any of us are good people. We're all fucking rotten to the core. That me, you, everybody. But I don't think Don Imus was a racist. I don't. I think he's a failed human being, an alcoholic and a recovered alcoholic, and kind of had a thing for young girls. I mean, his wife Deirdre was like 40 years younger than him or something like that. But I don't think he was a racist. I've seen him around people of color, and he didn't treat them any different. That Dave Sims was kind of a foil. Anyway, what I'm saying here is, when I say, I'm kind of an apologist for Don Imus. I idolize the guy. I can't deny that. But I'm not apologizing for him because of that. I'm stating what I believe because of what I've seen. Now, I do think Bernard McGurk, who was his producer for a lot of years, was as racist as they come. He's a Howard Beach. He's a guy who would chase a black guy down the street with a baseball bat if he had enough white friends with him. Just because the guy happened to be black. That's Bernard McGurk. Now, he's dead. They're all dead. So, but I don't think I don't think nappy-headed hoes makes you a racist. I think he just got caught up in Bernard's racism. That's what I think. Having some yucks with a racist will get you there. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We got this is a terrible show already, and I'm gonna have no shower today. No, I need a shower because I stink already. Can you smell me from there? I think you can. If you can't, try a little of this. It will help you smell me.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
All right, party started now, and ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now, Stephen. I'm not at fault for this sticking my finger in your dummy camera and pushing wrong buttons and looping stuff because I'm on a phone. Ortiz and GD. I'm trying to visit Queen Elizabeth to do her podcast because that's more important than being on this show. Fenderson. Good morning.
Good morning, America.
Huh?
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not because I asked. Okay, good.
We can kind of hear.
What do you mean, kinda?
Sort
right
of.
here. Goddamn, right here.
We hear you just fine. Do your commercial.
What commercial? There's a commercial? All right, I'll do a commercial. We'll go to a commercial break.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. GD Fenderson here on behalf of I have to show you the name. I can't pronounce it. Giambalvo Hyundai in Hanover, Pennsylvania, where I get my service done for free because I bought the extended warranty. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering and support your local mercenaries.
I'm wrong then. I thought you were on the road visiting Elizabeth Croydon.
No, that's next Tuesday night.
Oh, next Tuesday night. All right. Well, now, how far is she? She's in D.C.? Is that what she is?
She's in Kensington, Maryland. But I shouldn't say that because now everybody's going to go to Kensington looking for her.
Nobody listens to us.
Okay. In that case, she lives on. No, I don't remember. I do have her address. I just don't remember it off the top of my head.
Docs her. Well, you know what? I could play at a place called Docs is a good place. A place called Docs, DOX. It's a good place. We used to play there with Kiera for some reason.
Sounds like a gay bar.
No,
It probably is.
The dock, where it's docks. If you had water by you, instead of being like just a fat Amish loser.
I have water by me, you jerk. I live by the Great Lakes.
Well, if you have water, you should try using it because I can smell you from here. You need
Me? Because I know I need a shower. Now you got me all self-conscious. Can you smell me from here? I'm sorry.
No,
Oof. We just lost half the audience. So yeah, now Amy. Oh, all the audience. I'm sorry, we lost all the audience. Good morning. Come back. I don't stand. I'll keep my pits to myself. Amy Jo Ellis is super kumbaya. She's claimed that now it's kind of weird. She claims that by making a statement, just making this weird atonement statement, the court of appealing to the Court of Atonement, you can get.
Yeah. It sounds like a plot from a Batman movie where maybe Scarecrow was sitting up there. It really
does.
And he says, he says, death by, death or banishment. I'll choose banishment. Okay, it's banishment, but first death.
Oh no, that's an old. That's an old joke about the guy's on the cliff, and he says you either get thrown off the cliff or whatever, shish kaboomy. And the guy says shish kaboomy, and so the guy fucks him in the ass, and then
oh my
lets
God.
him go. Anyway, and then the next guy says death or shish kaboomy, and the guy says shish kaboomy, and the guy fucks him in the ass, and the last guy says death, and then he says yes, but first shish kaboomy.
Oh my God! No,
no.
No.
What, you don't like being fucked in the ass? So John Beavers was wrong about you, because that's what he.
I don't mind fucking in the ass, but I do not like my ass being fucked.
This is why I'm not doing the show in the room where it's air conditioned and I don't have sun in my face because of
why
these types of conversations. Although I said to my wife,
about fucking people in the ass?
Yeah.
Right, yes. Because even though they can't hear them because I'm wearing earbuds, I may slip up and say something.
Oh, you might slip up.
Cocky?
I don't know what that is. And I don't need them to know that I don't know what that is.
You don't know what is.
You get that that's at the sushi bar, right? That's number 3 on the sushi bar. Bukkake.
What are you ordering at the sushi bar?
Number 3, the bukkake.
Number 2 bukkake.
He said it. He said it. Looked around. He was like bukkake.
Steven's like a fucking kid. Look, he said I
So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this outside. I don't want people to be subjective to my voice inside.
So, have you changed the shower head?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever head I have in the shower is whatever head I get in the shower.
Yeah.
I mean, I've changed the people who've given me head in the shower, but not.
I'm just wondering how long it takes because there's a plumber here. It's changing the shower head, and am I going to be able to take a shower today? Is what I want to know because
it depends on how far back.
That should be like a 20-minute thing.
It's that. Yeah, you unscrew the shower head, you put the piping on,
put the new
pipe
on.
tape on. Yeah.
And why would my wife need to call a plumber for it? It doesn't make sense. Like if it was
maybe that shower head is like the original one, and it's like attached to the pipe, and the pipe is attached to it's like the
or maybe she just needed.
There's a song there. The pipe.
Or maybe she just needed. She needed her pipes inspected and didn't want the man of the house to do it.
Talking bad about my wife, I will fucking piss in your fucking face. Call me R. Kelly.
No.
Yes, and I'll make you call me R. Kelly while I'm pissing in your face.
Take a camera into the shower and take a picture of it. I can tell you why she may need somebody else to do it. Because I do plumbing on the side.
On the side. Well, that's the problem. You got to do it in the front, not on the side, because the side.
Well, it depends on how much they're paying me. If they're paying me right, I do it from the front.
Guys, that's really gay. That's really gay.
Why? I didn't say.
Say gay like that's a bad thing. Are you a homophobe? On top of
not
being
at all.
an Amish fucking loser.
No, man. I'm whatever
on the
floats
bottom
whoever's
of being
boat,
an
man. I'm
Amish
cool with
loser.
it.
Not on top, but on bottom. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
This morning I forgot I had a car appointment. I remembered last night, and I said to this is what I said to my wife, or at least according to her, and it sounds right. It sounds like me. I said, I have a car appointment tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I have to leave the house by 7. And she said, "You're going to be able to do the show?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll just I'll get everything ready tonight, so I can, I was going to take my laptop, not the tablet, because the tablet acts funky, like Matt said. I'll grab my my tablet, not my tablet, my laptop, and my road kit." And I said, okay, and I forgot to do all that, and I woke up at 7:15, and it takes 45 minutes to get here, so I got here 15 minutes late because I only had 15 minutes to get pretty, get dressed, and grab my tablet.
It seems pretty out there. It's summer because it's summer here. Today I walked out and it was, I went out to walk the dog and the humidity and the heat, and I'm like, yes, I love it. Bring on more humidity and heat. Bring it all. Bring it on. Is that what you have or no?
I can tell you what I have. I have my phone in my hand. That's what I have. And it's 68 degrees.
That's not hot. That's not summer.
Yeah, but see, I thought for some reason that I might be inside with air conditioning in, so I have my jacket with me. And my jacket also, I'll bring it even when it's not cold because I have lots of pockets, and I can carry things in it like this, in case I get thirsty. But of course, I have to fill it up with water so that when I get thirsty, I have something to drink. But I didn't do that because I didn't have time. And I thought I'd be able to fill it up here. They don't have water here. They just have.
I'm rolling joints. You guys want one? I'm rolling joints. You want one?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Because I have to go on the road today. I can't be non-jointed on the road here.
You mean
even though
isn't it called disjointed?
It's just so I can cover up the stink with weed. Because I'm going to be stinking. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm going to be stinking.
Okay.
I don't want to stink. Can I not stink?
No, I've been around you. I don't think you can not stink.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
What you can do, though, you can combine smells. So, like, if you
that's what I'm doing. I'm covering it up with the weed.
Well, I was thinking vanilla extract. I think vanilla extract would probably complement your smell better than.
Can I go totally racist, and Steven will appreciate this?
Sure.
An ex-girlfriend once saw me putting on a little cologne after a gig, and she said, "What are you taking, a Puerto Rican shower?"
Depends on the cologne. What was it? What was it?
Probably cheap. Probably all English leather or Old Spice. One of those cheap,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is kind of racist. Yeah. I mean, if she had said something like, I don't even know what black people wear. Musk oil? Brute?
I don't
know. There was a time when black people was using like
Brute. Brute was the thing on Long Island, definitely.
Oh yeah, I was a Brute guy.
I was gonna say,
what?
Thinking back, I've never seen a black dude put on cologne.
Oh,
or body spray. I don't.
So what do you do to jerk off?
I was just say, what do you do? What do they do when they leave your house in the morning?
Come on, you never.
I just imagine that they all smell good.
I have a loop of black guys just putting on cologne, and I sit there.
I was like, what do they put on as they leave your house with that walk of shame?
Well, see, I'm just thinking now, black guys and guineas from Howard Beach both had the Brute thing in common. That was and I'm thinking back to the 70s. I mean, this is the last time I knew about it.
That was the last time I used Brute also. Yeah. And because I was, like I said, I was a Brute guy. I used to use their deodorant. I used to use their cologne. And it turns out
you're a guinea. You're a guinea from Howard Beach.
If I got hyperactive, like really, really, like exercise active, like I don't know. At some point, the Brute stopped working, and I didn't know it, and no one ever told me until Yeah, it is. It is brutal. But no one told me that my brute stopped working, and I found out by my girlfriend's father, who says, "Yeah." I go over and he says, "What do you use for deodorant?" I said, "Brute." He goes, "It's not working."
I like him. He's a good guy.
And he said, "You should do what I do." He says, "I'm just like you. I have like really musky glands," and he goes on about his body odor. He says, "I use Mitchum, and now nobody can smell me coming." And I'm like, "Thank you." Now I tried Mitchum for like 2 days. Now mind you, I was like 18 years old, so I didn't have a lot of money. I buy deodorant once, and I don't buy another one until it runs out, because that's how money ran when I was 18. But I went ahead and invested in the Mitchum, and that stuff like dries up your pores. It closes them up. That's why you don't sweat. It's just like,
wow, I did not know that. But I think I did go through a little Mitchum phase back in the 70s. And there was also Menon, try Menon.
Right.
That was
I think I wound
like
up on Arid. I think I wound up on Arid for a while.
Yeah. The other thing was Old Spice. Every Christmas, somebody would give you Old Spice, and you'd be like,
yeah.
The
Old Spice stuff.
Steven never used any of this stuff because he likes to smell like from under ball cheese.
No, that's not super true. I grew up with the smells of Avon, like Avon cologne, like the glass bottles.
I think you got that wrong. A-hole. The smell of an A-hole.
No, Avon.
A-hole.
The glass bottles that were shaped like cars and trains.
So, like Avon calling the woman, the ding dong, Avon calling, and the ladies would come to your house and sell dildos.
I don't know how they were sold, but my grandfather had like 300 bottles of this stuff.
So your grandfather knew the Avon lady. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're making progress. All right. Slaptail is
cologne though.
Slaptail's in the chat room saying clearly Steven does not know any black guys because I don't know any that don't use cologne. Well, GD?
No, that's the thing. Every black guy I've ever met that I've been within smelling distance of it smelled good.
I'm sorry.
No.
I hate to finish your sentences for you.
I know we're not even that close. Don't do that. But they've all smelled good. I've never even in high school.
You love the smell of a good black man, is what you're saying.
I like the smell of any good person that smells good, I guess. But even in high school, though, it seemed like the black dudes could get off the basketball court, change their clothes, and they smelled good and ready to go.
You know when GG smells best? When he's got his little foreskin in the frying pan because he ran out of bacon.
You could only cook that one time, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't last that long. It's only like 3 or 4 inches. It's not that, it's not a lot of.
Yeah, but that's where the old phrase "wake up and smell his foreskin" comes from. It's an old. It permeates through the house. Like
you're thinking. I think you're thinking Folgers, not foreskin.
I am.
No, that's right. The best part of waking up is foreskin in your cup. Yeah.
Okay.
It's classic Americana, bro.
I'm just realizing that they moved my car so they can be like next in line in the bay, and my car is like right here in front of me. I didn't even realize it.
So you could be in your car enjoying.
I could, except for I don't have the keys. They have the keys because I was running late. Usually when I'm on time for this kind of stuff, I bring 2 sets of keys. One that they can use that has no, and the other one that I keep just in case something happens. I could always drive away.
You have to go make a run for it, like the cops show up or something. You got to make a run. Yeah,
but I just didn't have that. Like I said, I was like really, really unprepared, and I shouldn't have been because last night I had everything all planned out.
Steven has something.
GD, I rode in one of your a version of your car when I was picking up my Escalade. The guy that sold it to me was driving one of your cars, and man, those things are so nice.
What is it?
Those Hyundais.
I have a Hyundai Santa Fe Unlimited.
You don't say it right. You don't say it right.
Hyundai Santa Fe Unlimited.
Yeah, limited. LTD. It's not unlimited. Unlimited is the car payment.
I don't know why you're saying Hyundai. It's not Hyundai.
LTD. Yeah, and unlimited is actually the car note, but LTD is means they have so many things inside and only special people get them.
Hyundai.
Yep.
All right. So I don't know. That's all. All right. Have a good day. What's the show for you? Amy Jo Ellis. I don't know how she found me because I was trying to look up publicist stuff.
She's a psychic. She probably sensed you.
She's a weird kind of psychic, though. Do you know her story?
Well, I read it this morning and I forgot it. Something about
she was a singer-songwriter, living the dream, and her boss got murdered. Now, that confuses me right there. Singer-songwriters have bosses since when?
Well, I guess if she's like the in-house singer, like, okay, she's a songwriter on the side, but when she sings at this one club. She has a contract with this one club, like maybe she bartends in the daytime or writes songs in the daytime and performs music, sings for them at night.
Yeah.
And that.
Well, in that case, you're not a singer-songwriter. You're a bartender. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. It's like this. I'm just trying to make sense of what I've read.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Can't make any sense. But then she had a psychic vision about somebody in a green truck, and it turns out the people who got caught and tried for it were driving a green truck. Blah blah.
With wood sticks on the side, or wood slats. Would you say wood sticks or wood slats? Wood
something. Woody Woodpecker was on the side. So, but all right. So, kumbaya. I'm a psychic. Now, how do you get from there to just being able to give people a sentence to change their life? And the sentence is like, I state your name. Doesn't say state your name. I blank. Yeah, I can read it because
I blank out all the time. I did that this morning when I forgot that I had a car appointment.
Here's how it starts. I name whatever, place myself, and then there's another blank in there into the full court of atonement. What's supposed to go in that second blank? I'll find out when she gets here, but it's just confusing. Like what? You already stated your name. Matt Napo, place myself, Matt Napo, into the full court.
No. The second one is rank and serial number. You already did your name, so now you're doing rank and serial number.
Degenerate 1, 2, 3.
I think you're lower than that. I think you're deliberate. Delinquent. What did you call yourself?
Degenerate, I think. But yeah, you could be delinquent degenerate. That's like a special rank.
That makes you a double D.
Yeah.
Delinquent degenerate. Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't look a double D when I saw you. I thought you were straight up.
Want to see my tits?
No.
Yes, please.
No,
yeah.
I was.
No.
Yeah, please.
No, I was guesstimating.
No.
Did we go through this with the sweaty tits the other day? You don't want because they are sweaty tits. My bra.
Well, look, the frogs are turning gay, so
my bra is in my good brew, bro.
Which I don't have with me.
You know what? I'm not using enough of this good brew, bro, because this thing is way too full. I should talk to whatever his name was about the good brew.
I should have picked a better spot. I am like baking. I'm going to have a suntan. I'm going to be blacker than Ron when this is over with.
I don't know. Do you get darker?
Whoa,
do you get darker by saying in the sun?
It's really weird. I turn brick. I go from brown to brick.
Brick.
House and don't. I'm mighty. I'm letting it all hang out. I'm a brick. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I'm in public. I shouldn't do that. People can see me.
Lionel Richie.
I'm
Lionel
okay,
Richie, folks. Billy Ocean meets Lionel Richie. Yeah, he's
not a seizure. Please don't call the police. I know where I am. I'm in Hanover.
Yeah.
I'm around the corner from the club where I used to be able to perform regularly.
I'm surprised Kumbaya Boy is not here at the moment. He whenever he sees psychic, he wants to come in and prove that he's in tune, whatever. He wants to hijack the psychics, whatever. Kumbaya boy.
Okay.
So, surprised he's not here. Either that or he's just lurking in the background because he knows I'll just call him a dick and shut him up and whatever. Won't let him in. I'm
sorry, Matt. I've been outside too long. Somebody called the waste department on me.
Oh.
Yeah, they called the waste department.
You're wasted?
No, that's the shit. I'm not. Where's the? Oh, there it is. Right.
Yeah, it's orange. It's an orange truck, which looks like a prison truck. Prison waste. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice little Honda right in front of you.
Thank you. I wasn't trying to show the Honda, but I can't see when I turn.
You say Honda? I thought a Hyundai.
Hyundai. Yeah, it is a Hyundai. Hyundai.
So I'm conflicted here, or maybe you're conflicted here. I'm confused because yesterday you said, "Am I the only one who's bored with this Blind Mike Beaver's You thing?" But I wouldn't even know about it if not for you. It's not. I mean, you didn't have to tell me.
Just because I mentioned it once or twice in the past doesn't mean I'm still enjoying it.
No, I understand that. But if you wanted to go away, you should have just never mentioned it. If
I didn't know it was going to turn into this. I'm not a.
You don't know me by now that if you say blue, I'm going to be talking about blue for the next 3 months.
I thought your attention span was more like a goldfish, not blue. I thought it was like a goldfish, and you'd be like, "Oh, next shiny object." Yeah. We just need another shiny object so you can stop.
I don't know if you could tell us, but I don't know if you could tell us about me. But I'm beside myself. Do you see me over here? I just feel like I should have been able to make something out of that, and nothing got made out of that.
Because nobody gives a shit. What we need is a diss rap. A diss rap. A diss track. If we had diss tracks, maybe, but I don't know how. I don't rap. I can rap. I just don't like doing it because I think I'm playing into a stereotype if I rap.
Yeah, Beavers is like you in a way. He's kind of like he's incapable of admitting mistakes or something. Like it was. Listen, it was wrong to call Blind Mike a pussy. You could call him a blind guy.
What mistake did I make? I didn't make a mistake.
See, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what Beavers is. He's not apologizing. He knows he's a pussy anyway. So
what is it that I erred in that I should admit my error? Because usually if I make an error, I admit it once I'm aware of it. So I'm obviously unaware of it. So what do I need to be aware of?
Never mind. Let's just act like you don't exist.
Okay.
See, that's a mistake. You've just made a mistake. You do exist. See that?
You said act like.
Act like.
That's
okay.
Acting. I mean, acting is different. That's not. I didn't say
I'm
I
an
don't
actor.
exist. Well, yeah, you've been acting like an ass all morning. No.
Maybe. Come on, Steve. It wasn't that. Listen, I was kind of low hanging fruit. For you to go. Oh,
I sit low, baby. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You might enjoy coming to rehearsal tonight in Hicksville, Long Island, at Tony's house because I get stabbed. And then I have to fall to the floor. I know it's a spoiler. Yeah. You guys were going to come on to see the show.
No, I just can't pick up my life and drive to New York whenever it suits you guys.
To watch me get stabbed. It's not like it's not a.
I just come thinking about you.
Even if I were doing the stabbing, even if I were doing the stabbing, I wouldn't. I'd have to plan ahead.
Plan ahead. All right.
Warning! GD Fenderson is about to mention his mother. Warning! Mother alert! Mother alert!
Why is your mother driving the truck?
I am. Well, yeah. My wife has a son, so. Yeah, legally and technically and actually and metaphorically. Yeah.
So,
all right, mathematically.
Speaking of your mother,
yeah,
Elizabeth Coyden, who's your second mother.
She's my queen.
No, he just calls her mommy.
All right,
I call her queen.
She just decided to do a podcast. Like after 800 billion people are doing a podcast, hasn't she? Why would anybody start doing a podcast now? It's just like
somebody, according to, if I understand it correctly, somebody suggested that she should have a podcast.
5 years ago, she should have had a podcast.
Apparently recently.
That's bad advice. That's bad advice. I shouldn't have a podcast. You shouldn't have a podcast. Nobody should have a podcast. They should.
I don't have a podcast.
I know.
I don't call them Way Past Funny a podcast. I call
because
it,
you don't podcast it.
Right. I call
Are you on any of the podcasting service like Spotify and Apple and all the podcast things?
No, I'm on Roku TV and Knob TV and YouTube.
Wow. So it is not technically a podcast then, if you're not on those things. So now you can never get in good pods. No wonder we're number 69 because nobody's in there. They're not really signing up. They technically sort of have a podcast, but they're not in Apple and Spotify and all that stuff. So they don't get counted as podcasts. And that pushes us up in the ranking.
Yeah, I tried putting. No, I did put the Reverend's show on Spotify just out of a lark, just to see if it would gain traction. But it's so much fucking work. I said, fuck it, not worth it. Because I'm starting from zero, which means people have to start finding me, which means I have to like create a lot of content so they can find me. But creating a lot of content was a lot of work that I didn't feel like doing. So I attracted failure to that endeavor, right?
Wow.
I attracted it to myself. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Is that how the law of attraction works?
You were self-sabotaging or something.
Like that's it. Yeah. It was a self-fulfilling non-profit fee.
Huh.
But they didn't make any money off of it, so it's a non-profit. See?
I picked a bad day to quit sniffing glue.
Yes. Airplane.
Yeah. I don't know. I screwed up. I thought we had two guests today, and it was going to be a breeze, go through Guy Marsh, like that, and then Amy Jo Ellis. I thought it was the other way around, actually. I thought Amy Jo was going to be first. I'm not the kumbaya guy I used to be. I mean, I'm losing patience. Now, she does have a thing about optimism, becoming an optimist, asking the Court of Atonement to make you an optimist. That sounds like something I need, right?
Okay,
doesn't it?
Here's the deal. Here's one of the things, and I guess I should wait till she comes on so I can ask her, but I'm going to ask her here first in case she doesn't show up. Or she may know the question by the time she may have sensed the question.
Right.
According to her blurb on her website, the souls are timeless. Their future, past, present.
I don't get that.
Okay, so if I have a problem, let's say I have a problem with podcasting, and I say I want to be successful in podcasting. I don't know which soul is from where, and one soul is from like the 1300. And they'll go like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Podcasting? You should just attach it to a pigeon's ankle and go." Then the other soul is from the future, where podcasting is so passe. They're like, "Podcasting? Don't waste your time. Nobody's using podcasting anymore. We're using thought. You should get your VR, and we're just putting our programs out with thought so that everybody hears at one time."
Steven's doing thought stuff right now. You could look at him. Look at him. He's doing thought stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think that's bowel movement phase. That's his number 2 phase.
Oh,
my BM face is more like.
Really?
That's my BM face. Yeah.
You got a blockage? You got a blockage going on or something?
Oh, I think
I'm pretty regular.
No, my car can't be ready. My car's right there.
Wow, his car's ready.
It's ready.
He's gone sideways.
I've been sitting outside my car all this time, just thinking, okay, I'm next.
No, you're ready.
Oh, do I need to sign something?
You're ready. So we're gonna get to watch GD Drive now and podcast while driving.
Oh
no. I wouldn't let the stream happen with him driving because I think Instagram will ban it.
Okay.
You'll get a strike.
Oh,
we're not on Instagram.
You got it. Oh, okay.
Oh, we're not on Instagram. Okay.
And here's another thing.
Wait a minute, Matt. Before you go, I just want to say on behalf of GM Volvo Hyundai of Hanover, number one in service. Okay, Is it Hyundai or Hyundai? I don't know how much I'm paying, so I don't even know how to pronounce it.
It's Hyundai.
Hyundai? Hyundai. In Korea. Hyundai. Now, I thought it was like vase and base. Like if it was under a certain amount, it was a vase base, and if it was over a certain amount, it's a vase. So I thought like
he's only laughing because you owe the money still.
Hyundai. You got that, guys?
Hyundai.
So on behalf of Gianbalvo, Hyundai of Hanover, #1 in automotive service, 20 years in a row. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Oh, sure. Okay, guys, I've never driven while talking on a thing before. So
yeah, well,
if I have an accident, maybe that'll push the ratings up.
Yeah, maybe. If run over a blind guy and a beaver. Run over a blind guy and a beaver, just to kind of wrap things up in a nice little tidy bundle.
Oh, and Steven, he wasn't smiling because I had to pay him because I'm under extended warranty. Everything I get done right now is free.
Wow. Everything
you already have your money.
Right now it's free. Ask him to blow you. See how that goes.
That's okay. That's at 30,000 miles. I'm only at 21,900.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. My car is like 500,000 miles on it and counting.
Mine has 312,000.
I remember when cars didn't make 100,000 miles. You had to get rid of it because 100,000 miles was a death knell. And no car's going to make it past that. That's how old I am. I remember when there were no such thing as cars. Facebook, for some reason, the bots have gone mad, gone wild, gone crazy. They are calling every live stream that I've ever created a phishing attempt, a cyber security violation against their standard. Like we're trying to maliciously get people's information. What could they possibly be seeing in this nonsense that feels like
that doesn't make any sense?
Maybe
that doesn't make any sense at all. It's like we're not asking people to donate. We're not asking people to like send information to us. Like we don't ask for any of that. Like none of that even mildly makes sense.
First of all, when did we stop doing that? Because I thought that's what we used to do all the time. I thought that was like the whole purpose of the show was to get people's information and shit.
How? How did we? What was the mechanism by which we got their information? I did ask people to sign up for the newsletter a couple of times, but that was a long time ago. I mean, not recently. And they're just taking. Yesterday, I think a total of 64 shows got taken down. They're gonna go through all of them, and basically 3,000 shows are gonna. And I'm fine with that. We don't need to store them on Facebook. I got them all on YouTube. I got them all on hard drive backed up here. I don't need them to be there. I'm just wondering why they're doing it. And the problem I have is that my account becomes liability. Then they could shut down my account if I keep doing this, and I'm not doing it. That's the whole. If you keep doing this, we're gonna take away your account. Doing what? I'm not doing what you say I'm doing, and there's no way to even counter it or appeal it or any of this stuff. I'm like, this is not fair at all. You send bots out. The bots are wrong, and I can't even argue with the bots. Not fair. Not fair.
Damn bots.
I know. So now, I'm thinking next week I'm not going to.
I don't know how to put this on my because I don't want to waste people's time if they can't see me.
I know. Me neither.
Let's see.
Don't worry about it. Just go home. How long does it take you to get home?
45 minutes.
So you'll be just in time to, well, maybe be a little late, but to talk psychic stuff. So just drive. You fucking gun it. Go 95 miles an hour. Run over a beaver and a blind guy and get home. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can take my image off and still talk to you guys and listen.
Yeah. You could do that.
I don't have an avatar though. So what do I do here? I need to turn off my.
Why don't you just drive and just let it go?
Just drive.
And so people be looking outside the window like this?
Yeah, drive.
I mean, we can see it. Looks fine, I guess.
Yeah, that would be cool. We get to see the traffic going by, and maybe as you run over some things. And so I'm thinking next week I'm just not going to broadcast to Facebook. I'll just post the links to YouTube on Facebook, and just pull it all down. Fuck them all. fuck Facebook. That's what I'm thinking. Is that a bad idea to fuck Facebook?
I mean, I wouldn't fuck Facebook if you didn't want to get some sort of STD, but yeah.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go with that. Thank you.
Well, they say whatever. Like minds are idiots. That's what they say.
I think the saying is "great minds think alike," but whatever. I see what I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Let me turn my attention to Stephen the sitcom Ortiz. He's still calling himself the sitcom, even though he's been outed as a faker. He's not really sitting. He's not really in a wheelchair, or doesn't need to be in a wheelchair. That was just a ruse to steal money from the government. But so now you got a car, and you get like an itch in your ass on a Tuesday night, and you say, "I'm going to go to karaoke." And did you sing last night?
I did, and I'm going back tonight because I'm meeting with the bar owner about putting on a show. So,
a karaoke show?
No, comedy.
What did you sing at karaoke last night?
Dirt Road Anthem, and then of course I had to do White and Nerdy by Weird Al.
That's a great song I never heard of.
Yeah, that's what karaoke guys have that queued up. Like, that's not exactly the most popular. You wouldn't think. Oh yeah,
it's one of the most popular karaoke country songs.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, sing a little bit of it for
the
us.
Jason Aldean, the Jason
ladies
Aldean
and gentlemen,
the song.
Now appearing on the Coffee with the Dog program, a cappella, Stephen the disability.
No.
Gonna sing a cappella for us. Go ahead, Stephen. Hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
We're not drunk enough for this.
I agree. I 1,000% agree. That's why I went to the karaoke bar to do it.
I apologize to the audience for letting them down on this promise. I've been letting people down a lot lately. This is what I'm known for now. I'm the letdown guy, right? But look, we get to watch TD's chin as he drives. This is interesting. I like it. It's a different
this is
look.
The angle this is the angle that the women that get to touch his pee-pee get to see.
No, they're a little bit lower.
I think Steven's speaking from his own personal experience.
Are you sure? Because from when I was there.
First of all, any woman that wants to touch my pee-pee, I have to go through my wife. And so they're not going to see this face. They're going to see my wife's fist first.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, is your wife,
that's kinky as fuck.
Is your wife the jealous type? It's going up to 78, 75, not 78. 75 today. So, hey.
Well, my wife, yes, she is the jealous type. I don't know if she admits it or not, but depending on how much she's had to drink when we're talking, I mean, this is how it's gone. And we've had conversations like this. She'll say, I understand if you go on the road, you might get, I understand when you go on the road, you might get a little lonely. So I understand if you cheat a little. And she goes, I'll understand. And I don't answer that question. I don't say anything.
That's wrong. That's a mistake, not answering it. You should say, no, I never would. I don't care how lonely I get.
Because I listen to her. I listen to what she's about to say. And then 10 minutes later, she'll go, if you ever cheat on me, I'll cut your balls off and shove them in your ass or something like that. So, I just had to wait for my wife to realize what she just said. Then I'll answer. Because she won't remember my response anyway unless it's the wrong response. If I say nothing, it can't be the wrong response. Only in her head. And even then, then she could say, you said so-and-so. I said, no, I didn't even think it. I didn't say anything. That's what you were thinking that I was going to say.
You remember Mikey, right? You remember Mikey. Why would you remember Mikey? You never met Mikey, but you remember Mikey, right? The Nazi from the Nazi 45s?
Nazi 45s. Hello, it works.
Yeah. Mikey used to be married to a Colombian woman who kept a machete under the mattress. And she told him if he ever cheated on her, she was going to chop him up with the machete. And she kept it ready any night. I think she used to smell his dick. So, let me smell your dick. when he came home. And so he had to be a good boy. But then towards the end, he wasn't such a good boy. She never killed him, but I believe that she had the capacity because her brother killed a friend of ours, raped and stabbed a friend of ours underneath the train trestle years ago. So
Jesus
we thought,
Christ.
she probably, probably thought, that her family's got that in it. She probably got that in it too. There's murder.
Oh yeah.
I could be wrong, but I don't think his name was Jesus Christ. He just said Colombian, so it's probably his
Jesus Cristo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Cristo.
Go ahead.
Jesus Cristo.
But
Cristo?
I don't know if she knows this. Maybe she doesn't know. Maybe this was a good thing.
I don't know if she knew this about him. Go ahead.
Maybe I should just send her. He actually did cheat on you. If you want to go back now and finish the job. Does that sound like I'm sort of? I don't know. I don't really want Mikey to get killed, do I? Do I? Talk me out of it. I don't want him to get killed.
I don't know. How much of a Nazi do you think he really is?
Oh, he's a real Nazi.
It occurred to me, and I'm not going to say this on the air because it would really get me in trouble. But I just thought of something that no one else has apparently thought of yet, and I'm not going to say it because it would really, really, really get me in trouble.
About?
I would tell you guys later.
About
okay. There are people who are trying to hurt me with my comedy career. Well, I shouldn't say trying to hurt me because they're not really trying to hurt me. They're just doing their job. They're not trying to hurt me.
I think they're just trying to have fun. That's it.
Right.
People just trying to pass the day without fucking too much misery.
I believe the actual show is having fun. I believe that some of the people in the chat don't realize it's all in fun and that they are, people in the chat. So sometimes they become idiots, which is how I got death threats. But not from his people, but people from usually New Yorkers.
Imagine that, death threats over show business. That's just bizarre. I tend to agree with your assessment there that he's just these people who are doing podcasts are just having fun, and some of the people in the chat room just they just become fanboys or whatever, and just take sides.
And because part of the show is not to tell when you're running the show. Part of the show is not to tell people that this is all for show. They can't drop that veil. And
maybe that's my mistake too. I do tell people this is all for show, don't I? I say that a lot. I'm not
right. So people can't get passionate behind it because they know, whatever you say today, you don't really mean to tomorrow, or you may not mean tomorrow. Or even if you do mean it tomorrow, they won't believe you because they say, "Oh, Matt, this is just part of the show."
Wow.
And so they can't. So only the people that can get emotionally attached are the ones that do that kind of thing.
Right. So bottom line is though, I'm a failure at shock jocking. I should have seen this coming. It's not like I didn't have warning that I was not going to be a good shock jocker. I had 45 years of warning, and I just I guess he was right. I'm a little slow on the uptake. So, yeah.
I should show you guys my dashboard because right now it says I'm getting 90.7 miles to the gallon.
Wow. Gallon of what?
Plutonium. Enriched plutonium.
Enriched plutonium would be good. Slaptail, I'm just breaking news from Slaptail. On our podcast, we state that this is for entertainment. We are playing a role. You will never learn anything from this podcast. This is pretty much accurate of a description of this show as well. You will never learn anything from it. Although,
if it were true, we wouldn't be number 3 in science.
That's my hope is that every day we will learn something. It's not like we don't want to learn anything here. It was like we are against learning. We're not.
Right.
Did you guys catch? And I'm sure you didn't. Piers Morgan had on Eric Weinstein and Sean Carroll to debate.
Is that the bass player from Kiss?
Yeah, close. Okay. Eric Weinstein is a geometry, a mathematician from flunked. I don't know if he flunked out of Harvard. For some reason, he's got a bone to pick with.
Can we get him on the show? Can we get him on the show?
I doubt it.
I've been working on a math problem forever, and I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
Well, neither is he. Eric Weinstein is a mathematician who has come up with a theory of everything that really is a basic. Like, if I describe his theory of everything, it's about geometric unity. But he kind of came up with it in 1982, and by the time he started to write a paper about it, he didn't really remember it that well. And so it's short on a lot of facts and data, and this is from the best I can from memory. But he's got a bone to pick with academia in physics and thinks that he knows more than all of them, Einstein and Ed Whitten and all these people. And he comes up with this theory of everything. Now, the academic community laughs at it. It's like he laughed at Trevor Howard, who was, one times one equals two. One times one equals that guy. And so Sean Carroll is a respected physicist, and he basically was kind of pointing out the holes in Eric's wanting desperately to have some appreciation from the scientific community and not getting any, just as Eric was doing to Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan's podcast. The roles were reversed now, and the humiliation was just wonderful to watch, because Eric Weinstein is the biggest fucking narcissist egomaniac. And it's just like if Steven would have come out with sorry, Steven, to come out with the theory of everything, saying Einstein had it wrong, I got it right. It'd be like, come on, man.
I think Steven would have had the theory of the everything bagel.
Steven would have called DoorDash.
That's right.
Probably.
Somebody said you were home yesterday. Why are you ordering food? Because obviously the refrigerator was bare, or the cupboard was bare, right? You wouldn't just be ordering.
He was at his AI girlfriend's house.
You think he's sleeping? Steven, wake up! Wake up!
Steven, no, I'm not asleep.
I
was responding to a message.
No, you are asleep. You're getting sleepy. You're sleepy. I'm going to count backwards from 3, and when I get to 1, you're going to be a duck. Ready?
Potato.
3, 2, 1.
You're an Amish potato.
No, they don't even do it right. Affleck. Affleck is not a sponsor of the program.
There was when I was this was probably in 1971 or 2. I was in the 7th grade. There was a show called "Is There a Doctor in the House?" It was a British comedy.
Right. Remember.
And I thought it was a very funny show. Well, they had this one episode where they hypnotized one of the other interns, and whenever you heard the word "doggy," he would, bark. And so, as a prank, one of the guys in my class says, "I can hypnotize anybody," and so I pretended to volunteer. It was all part of the ruse. And so he hypnotizes me and says to me, "If you hear the word doggies, you're going to bark." And so he snapped his finger, and then people would go, "Doggy," and I'd bark all day long. And then we got to music class, and the song that we were working on that day was "Get Along Little Dog." And I stayed in character for the whole class.
Wow.
But I kept doing, whenever I would bark, I would do it with my ventriloquist voice.
What was the trigger word?
Doggies, like the little calves, little doggies.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you hypnotized Steven. I think he's barking.
Doggies.
Are you high right now?
I wish.
Doggies.
Yeah.
Are you a retard? Doggies.
Are you high right now?
Are you high right now?
I love her voice when she says, "Are you high right now?"
I know, it's such a good sound bit.
Now, I was thinking about her yesterday because when I was talking to her, I was so impressed that an 86-year-old lady would be talking to me about weed and gummies and smoking and all this stuff. But I shouldn't be surprised. Tommy Chong is 87. He just turned 87 last week. So
Happy birthday, Tommy.
It just shouldn't come as a surprise to me that people nearing 90 years old are weed heads, because they are the original weed heads, right? I mean, the 60s and those hippies. I don't think I'm going to make it to 90 or even 86 or whatever. She's 86. Tommy just turned 87. He's still in good shape, but I don't know if you noticed about Tommy. He was a bit of a gym rat. He worked out with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the
he was. Yes, yeah, he was a gym rat with
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger and them guys at the Gold Gym.
Yeah, Gold Gym. Well, you know what? I'll play news, and we're waiting for Amy Jo Ellis to come in and talk to us about Kumbaya Atonement, Court of Atonement.
Hey, Court of Atonement. Hey.
A fire broke out at a major oil facility deep inside Russia amid ongoing drone exchanges with Ukraine. Russian emergency services reported that the blaze was extinguished after 7 hours.
The incident underscores the escalating tensions between the two nations, with both sides engaging in frequent aerial attacks. Ukrainian officials have not commented on the fire, while Russian authorities are investigating the cause. No casualties have been reported, but the facility sustained significant damage. Chris Anderson reporting.
South Koreans are voting to elect a new president following the impeachment of Yoon Suk-yeol over martial law allegations. Joseph Eckerson reports.
Yoon's removal from office stemmed from accusations of constitutional violations during a national security crisis. The election outcome is expected to shift South Korea's political landscape, potentially impacting relations with neighboring countries. Voter turnout is reportedly high, reflecting public interest in the nation's future direction.
Ukrainian officials report a new attack on the Kerch Bridge, a key supply route linking Russia to Crimea.
The bridge has been placed under emergency inspection, though no civilian casualties were reported. This incident follows a recent Ukrainian drone strike that damaged over 40 Russian warplanes. Meanwhile, Russian rocket attacks on the city of Sumy have killed at least 4 people and injured 25 others. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the assaults, calling for increased international pressure on Moscow. Benjamin Wright.
You're done. I say you're done. How much do you think that job pays? Go inspect the bridge that's getting bombed from both sides. It's in between both sides. You got to go out there.
I think Putin volunteers them because Putin, that bridge is very important to Putin. It's like his, crowning. It's symbolic of his crowning achievement of taking over Crimea.
See, maybe I'm under the wrong impression. I thought they were Ukrainian bridge inspectors, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know where I got that impression.
I think it would be Russian. I would assume they'd be Russian inspectors, unless the Ukrainians are expecting to see how much damage they did. So, oh no, we need more explosives next time.
I probably would say no. I'll take my time in the gulag. Thank you. I'm not going on that fucking bridge.
Matt would say, I have a choice between inspecting the bridge and Shambuki. I'll take Shambuki.
Shishkabuki or whatever. Yeah.
Shishkabubi. But first you inspect the bridge.
Inspect the bridge. No. I don't want to inspect. I'm not going on that bridge. There's fucking drones bombing that bridge all day long. I'm not going on that bridge. And even if they don't, it's fucking falling down already because it's been bombed like 10 times. I am not going on that bridge.
Yeah, you inspect the bridge, but first, Shishkabubi.
So, if you're looking for a high-paying job, because AI has taken your job, or like Juan or Jesus has taken your job, just go to apply for a bridge inspector. I'm sure they need a few good men, or a few men willing to die. Whatever. So maybe we'll get psychically enlightened here today. Are you ready? Are you ready to get psychically enlightened?
Sure.
Steven, are you gonna participate in this, or are you just gonna fucking look at your cock all day like you're doing right now?
I'm gonna participate so hard.
I have a question. I have a question for you guys. And I don't want to jinx this. I don't want to jinx it. Aren't you guys impressed how I have been able to drive with a hotspot and not drop you guys and still live stream video?
No, because you're not moving. You're not moving. We can see you're just sitting in the car in the fucking parking lot.
Okay. Yeah, you're not even really doing anything.
I'm sitting in the car and the car is moving.
Yeah, but you're in the parking lot, and the parking lot's not moving. You're just driving around one parking lot.
I am 10 miles from home now.
Wow, 10 miles. All right.
And I'm using a hotspot from my house.
Now, Hanover, Maryland, that was named as, oh, wait, is it Hanover, Pennsylvania or Maryland? What is it?
Hanover, there's one of each. There's a Hanover, Maryland, and a Hanover, Pennsylvania. I'm in Hanover.
That should be against the law. If one state claims it gives a city a name, the other neighboring state should not have a city with the same name. That's just wrong.
I agree.
So that was named after my good friend Hanover P.S.
I think it was Handover Fist. I think it was named after Hanover Fist.
No, Hanover P.S. is a real guy from Copiague, Long Island, New York. Kind of a weird name that is. I don't know what the P stands for. P Ness. I don't. Nobody ever asked him what the P stands for. Hanover P Ness. Not a made up name, even though it sounds like a made up name.
Well, it'd be weird if your hand was under your penis.
Yeah. So Stephen, you're anti kumbaya, right? You're like I don't know how you would even you're a skeptic.
Kumbaya challenge. He's kumbaya challenge.
Are you a cynic?
Yeah, I'm definitely. Maybe.
You're definitely maybe. You're a cynic.
I don't know. I'm definitely a skeptic for sure. To an extent, especially on certain things more than others.
I think I'm a skeptic with this whole idea. I mean, the idea that souls can exist without time and space. Now, space-time. It's like that doesn't make any sense. If you exist, you're in space.
I think
and time.
I think I'm cynical. Yeah, I think I am. I feel like, especially psychics in particular, are very much taking advantage of people.
What about this idea that time doesn't exist? That's a fucked up thing. Like, if time doesn't exist, and this is a prominent theory right now. If time doesn't, you know that Michio Kaku, that guy,
Michio Kaku.
Yeah, he played center for the Chicago Bulls in the 91-93 series.
Right.
That's not the same guy.
Anyway, he's a proponent of this theory that time doesn't exist. It's a human construct. So what I can't wrap my head around is, if time doesn't exist, how did I go from being an infant to being this curmudgeon old man? And
well, I think.
What do you think? You don't think. You just think.
Well, it's a human. Time's a human construct, right? Like, it's. Like, if we never determined time was a thing, would time still be a thing?
Yes, because again, you went from being 8 pounds 7 ounces to 735 pounds and whatever you are now.
Jesus
that
Christ.
Happened over what? Over a period of. Go ahead, say the word.
7 meals.
Existence. A period of existence.
So if that period, which is a measurement of time, if that didn't exist,
a measurement of time,
how did you get from there to it didn't happen like you didn't just and all at once, right? Did it? Did it happen all at once?
It did not happen all at once.
So that's the theory that everything is happening at once. There's only now. Everything is now. There is no future or past. It's all now. There's no time. There's no future, no past. Well, I can remember the past. How do I fucking remember the past if it doesn't exist?
But how do and if that doesn't exist, how do you plan the future? Like, how do you plan for things to happen? Like, you can plan tomorrow to take. You can plan tomorrow to take medication, and then tomorrow take the medication.
Right. I could plan to have him on the program to ask him about this, but he would have to write it down and make a future plan for it. This is where they fucking lose me. Is it just like bullshitting people? Are you just fucking bullshitting me now? Time exists.
Okay. Here's my theory. I think we're arguing two different meanings of time. I think that we haven't agreed on what the meaning of time is, kind of like we don't agree on what the meaning of God is. And so that's why we're having this problem.
All right. Right, that's a fair. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not ready. Stop. So, hey, Matt, your podcast, Mind Dog TV, not Coffee with the Dog, your podcast, Mind Dog TV, your mind's best friend, looks incredible. I'd love to be a guest. Come on. It looks incredible. It's the dopiest fucking waste of time. Listen, it's a failed shock jock just trying to fucking talk to kumbaya people and authors.
No, I think it's somebody who's just seen my face and they go, "It looks incredible." That's what I think.
This person says they have revealed I had past lives and had the ability to perceive what others can't. It might sound unconventional. No, it sounds kumbaya. It sounds like every other fucking guest that I ever had. The realization guided me to become a sensory coach. Helping leaders and teams.
Is that a 21st century coach or a 20th century coach or a 19th century?
Sensory, not century. Sensory.
Oh. Well,
it sounds like it's a business person because it says helping leaders and teams find deeper purpose, joy, and alignment with their work and lives.
I
don't know.
Sounds like a child enthusiast.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're gonna meet Amy Jo Ellis right now. I gotta read her bio. Let's see here. Amy Jo was a singer-songwriter living the dream down in Puerto Rico when her boss, and this is where it gets confusing to me because I'm a singer-songwriter. I don't have a boss. The boss is in here.
Right?
Her boss was murdered, but she solved the murder through like some psychic vision that she had, implicating a woman, two men who were driving a green truck with wooden stake sides. Steak? I thought that was cows, not wood. Steak, S-T-A-K, I'm sorry. She told that vision to a friend who took the information to the police. That friend is like a little telling tales out of school. Don't go to the police with what I'm talking. I told you in confidence. You're going to the cops. Later that evening.
I think the friend thinks that Amy Jo did it and she was just trying to collect a reward.
You know what? Maybe we're gonna press Amy Jo on this. I think she. Right. Later that evening, a police officer came to the door, pulled over a green Ford truck with the stake sides, and found incriminating evidence. They arrested the two men and the woman who were in the vehicle. She went from that to coming up with this court of atonement thing. Good morning, Amy. Thanks for being here.
Hey, good morning. I like that introduction. That's really fun.
All right. I can't move this around. For some reason, GD's got me locked up here.
It may be the last fun we have.
What are you trying to move? What are you trying to move?
I'm trying to move me down into the corner where GD is, but that's fine. Well, we'll stay where we are. You can't do anything. No. We're fine here. So, do I call you Amy Jo or Amy? Is
Amy Jo? Amy Jo. Amy's my mother's name, so
okay.
I'll ignore you.
So, Amy Jo, tell me about what this court of atonement is, because we were just talking about time and space, and your foundational premise is that souls don't exist in a place where there's no time and space. And I know if there's no time, because this is a prominent theory in physics that time is just a man-made construct and doesn't exist. If there's no time, how did we book this for now in the past so that you would be here in the future, which is today?
Because it's a man-made construct, and we are living in that man-made construction. So here we are. I can't give you that answer completely of why that doesn't what it is, because it's beyond like our perception of what that means. But I guess it's what I'm seeing in my mind as I'm saying that is we watch movies that were made years ago, and we watch them as though they're happening right now. We put them on, and now we don't even need to like put a cartridge in anything. You can just pick them up out of thin air and turn them on and watch. And so they're saying that kind of repetitivity is.
But so where it gets confusing to me, if something doesn't exist in time and space, then everything is now. That gets overwhelming. Like I can't have, like, I've had 3,000 episodes of digital broadcast. I can't have them all at once.
I know exactly what you mean. But yet you do. You can turn any one of them on and look at it.
All right. I got a question for you about the statement, because you have these statements about the Court of Atonement, and there's two blanks in it. And I know the first one, my name goes. So it'll be I, Matt Napo, place myself, and then there's another blank, and I can't figure out what the hell that other blank is for. What
it's your name again. It's who you're putting in. So it changes. If you're going to put your brother in, you would say his name there. And
it's interesting you brought up my brother. You are psychic, aren't you?
But how can you for someone
if I am, I am usually unaware of what's going on, and I just bring through the first thought, and it seems to be right.
Yeah. I have an ex-brother who, kind of like that family thing that you mentioned on your website. I have not talked to my ex-brother in 8 months now. And thinking about it last night, like, it's because he's a Nazi, and I don't like Nazis.
I don't like them either.
Yeah. So I don't want Nazis in my life. But on the other hand, he's my brother. He's the closest living relative I have. I should not just let it just die like that. But I don't know. So this whole bridging the gap. So if I take this court of atonement type of thing approach, it's not going to make things any different. He's still going to be the Nazi if I rehook up with him, right? So I don't know. Like it's always necessary.
Well, maybe the things that push your buttons disappear, and he'll still be that jerk to other people.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now with this thing with your boss, it's a singer-songwriter. Was that the first psychic psychic experience you had, or have you had them be prior to that?
I think the thing is we all kind of had psychic experiences, but we really just write them off as coincidence or whatever. My dad tells a story about asking me for if I'd seen where his chainsaw is, and I'm about 5 or 6 years old, and I'm like, I get a look on my face, and I said, yeah, it's down in the olive grove, which is a mile long, and it's in the olive grove. It's 6 rows back, third, and I tell him exactly where this chainsaw is, and he's like, when was she ever in there? It's a quarter of a mile from the house, and I'm telling him precisely where, and he's like, where in the heck did she come up with that information? And so that kind of thing just kind of got written off. But I'm going to say, yeah, we kind of have that. But I have to say that was the most profound one, and something that was undeniably, absolutely accurate. And nor was I looking for it. I didn't intend for that to happen. I just kind of, one of the key ingredients I figured out later was that I shouted his name 3 times. Just like you would say when you heard something unbelievable, you go, John, John, John. And I just kind of shouted his name and said, how did you get yourself into a situation that got you killed?
You don't want to do that with Beetlejuice.
No. But I think there is something to do with with repetition and saying it like that. And because I was standing really outside of the gates where it happened, I just saw the whole scene in my mind. And then I started seeing him being killed, and I looked like an idiot because I'm like swatting flies. Stop, stop, stop. I'm trying to get the images to stop showing me this horrible stuff. And so it got everybody's attention. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I just saw it, and then I told him what I'd seen.
I want to try something real quick. Selma Hayek.
Thank you. She's here. Hey, I'll be right back.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to check the other room. She's one of my husband's favorite actresses.
So on the website, you have now you call them booklets. It says booklets, but and then underneath it says books. I don't even know what the booklet is, like a little book. I don't know what the difference between a booklet and a book is. But so there's book 1, book 2, book 3, and new. I think I'm showing new.
You're showing new, which kind of goes in and just recaps everything, so people don't have to read all 4 of the other ones.
Oh, see, that's not good business.
I know it's not good business, but the idea is to get the information to as many people who can, whether they can afford 5 books or not.
All right. So this book is now. How did
because Reader's Digest? Reader's Digest used to have like snippets of books, and then you go, like, "Wow, this seems like a really good book. I need to buy the whole book and read it."
No, they would give you the unabridged edition, right, or something like that.
With a compilation of
abridged. Yeah. But But this quarter, I've talked to many psychics over 3,000 episodes of these digital broadcasts. Never heard about this Court of Atonement before. This is something that is exclusively yours. How did you discover this, come up with it? How did this come into your life?
My husband's family was having problems, and since that happened with my boss, I began realizing there is something out there that I can talk to. And since my husband's a Christian, there's a lot of fear about who I might talk to on the other, and so I started like saying the Lord's Prayer about 10 times in a row to get my energy real clear and make my intention. I'm going to talk to the highest, clear being I could talk to. And I started asking them questions. And so whenever I would have a problem, I would ask a question and then go Google it and see what the answer. And it always worked. It was like, this always worked. So when I was thinking about my husband and his problems, I thought, how I went in and I sat down at my computer and I raised my vibration, as I call it, said the prayer. And then I said, what can be done to heal this conflict between my husband and his family? And they said, put their souls into a court of atonement, asked to resolve the conflicts between them at their points of origin. And so the first thing I did was like, what the heck is a court of atonement? It sounds so dumb, sounds stupid. I'm like, what the heck is that? And after kind of trying to find something and not getting anywhere, I went back and said, what is this court of atonement? And he goes, well, just look at it. The court is the place where you go to settle a dispute. And atonement, just look at the word, at one-ment. It's putting it back to oneness, back to wholeness.
Oh, and I never thought of atonement in those terms, because I'm not. Yom Kippur is a day of atonement for the Jewish people.
That's the only thing I could find online about atonement when I looked it up. That was the only thing.
At one. I didn't even think of that. At one-ment. So now the statement, did this thing you talked to is, I don't know, guide, whatever it is, did this come up with this statement with the blanks in it? Like, I, Matt Knapp, praise myself.
He said, put them in, and then he guided me through it. He said, say your whole name. And he said, saying our whole name is really key to getting the energy to move.
So was Muhammad Ali. That was a joke for GD, who's not listening right now.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
My name. Uh-oh. Anyway. So this whole statement, because now I'm looking at the Court of Atonement optimism. Now, if anybody listens to this program, they know I am optimistically challenged. I would love to be an optimist, but I'm a born pessimist. And according to your statement here, that being optimistic is one of the best things we can do for our health, finances, and everything else. I got by. I'm almost done with this life. I got through it being a complete pessimist.
I know you're not a complete pessimist, because you were optimistic I would show up today.
Yeah,
you were optimistic in other areas. And so your optimism, your life is following where you are optimistic.
Interesting.
Yeah. We're all optimistic, but we're also pessimistic.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to explain my pessimism other than I just think if anything can go wrong, it will. It will find a way.
And since life follows our beliefs, you probably get a lot of that.
Well, that's what because it sounds like law of attraction, and this is the law of attraction. People drive me crazy, because
they oversimplify.
Well, yeah, and they say, well, you're putting whatever you put out there, it comes back to you. Okay, that's fine for me, but I'm getting good things right now. I'm putting negative shit out there, and good things are coming back to me. How do you explain that? But also, I'm mad at one guy who was, and I definitely have some problems with this guy, because he tries to take over, he tries to commandeer my show, and I'm mad at him. And now he doesn't see that me being angry at him must be, according to his own rule, a manifestation of what he's putting out to me. It doesn't. The rules only apply to me, and that's where it gets me really angry. Like, wait a minute, you're saying if I put negative stuff out there, and negative stuff happens to me, I'm responsible for that. If you put negative stuff out there, and I give you negative shit back, I'm still responsible. So no, basically, it comes down to everything is my fault.
Well,
You might as well be my wife then.
That's right. No, and it's true. It's not all your fault. It's a two-way street in this life. I want to explain where you were saying about putting stuff out. I don't have a place to set this where you can see it up high, but let's just say when you're putting out negative, we throw a negative on there and it tips the balance and the energy follows that negativity, right? So you're thinking, this guy's a jerk. He's a complete idiot, right? And you're putting more weight on it. But when you balance it out and think, but sex is good.
Yeah. Could you try this white wheat on there? I think I got ripped off.
And this is, when you're thinking about this is good, and I love roast beef sandwiches, your positivity is coming up. So it really doesn't matter what you're positive about. You need to tip the scales away from this guy is such a jerk. And so everything balances out. It isn't quite so simple as what we put out. It's if it were that simple in the movie. Is it the movie The Secret where they have the elephant show up in the room because they think about you know what I mean, they're thinking about shit. If it was that simple, everybody would drive their fancy car and everyone would have a great house. But what's really happening behind the scenes is the anger and the hatred we hold on to. And we don't even think about it. We can have repressed memories of things that happened that upset us. I don't know if you've ever broken up with a girlfriend or a boyfriend and all of a sudden everything's fine. You're having a great day and their car drives by, a car just like theirs, and boom, your energy goes blah, and you don't even know it. Subliminally, that happens to us. Yeah. And so we have to kind of work on healing those relationships of the past that have caused us so much pain in order to get out of that mud, in order to get up into this more higher. I don't even like to use the terms higher frequencies, higher, vibrations, all that. Yeah. It's stop being so pissed off all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned this, and you are psychic, obviously, because you're mentioning things that are important to me, this whole family reunion type of stuff. But lately I've been, and not lately, for the last 55 years, I've been trying to kind of reconcile a first love relationship that went very bad, because for 50 years, I put all the blame on myself. I felt shame and anger and frustration of my own behavior on it. And lately I've been thinking, it takes two. It takes, and trying to forgive myself because we were both kids and it didn't work out. But where I've come to with this, the realization that it was never going to work out, because her grandmother told me, you're both too young. You're both too young. Stop thinking about being in love and just enjoy your time together. And whatever happens, happens. This was profound stuff from her grandmother when I was a teenager. I didn't listen to her, and I was thinking, man, this girl is everything and it was one of those love at first sight. I feel like I know her right from the beginning. And wow. So I'm thinking, this person was sent in, and this is where I am at now. She was sent into my life for a reason that we both had these really tough, had to go through this really passionate, brief affair of intense, whatever you call it, infatuation, not love, but intense infatuation, and then a harsh breakup because we were both supposed to learn something from that applied to the rest of our lives. This is where I'm at now in trying to reconcile us. And forgiving myself for, and knowing that it takes two to kind of fuck that up.
Yeah, it does take two.
Yeah. So the question I'm leading up to is: do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe that these are so? Because it felt like I knew her right from the first time I laid eyes on her.
Yes, I was going to say my guides never talk about like past lives. That's not something that they do talk about. But the terminology they use is alternate lives. And right. So I don't know if the theories exactly mesh, but they're very, very similar, and that we've lived together at other times. We'll put it that way. And so because they're very literal. My guides, you try to use a terminology that's a man-made terminology that's recent, and they don't understand it. And yet they're so ancient, they really understand everything. And so you're like, well, how is it you don't understand what, one of the funny ones for me is the divine blueprint. People want to use the term divine blueprint, and they're like, there's no divine blueprint for the human body. You know what I mean? They're literal. We understand what that means. It's a constructed human idea, but we can explain to the guides, and then they can follow our ideas. But
yeah, but this is where it becomes I don't know, limiting is maybe not the right word for, I don't know what word I'm searching for here, but it makes sense that past lives would not be mentioned because time doesn't exist, so there's no past. But if this is true, then everything that happens to us happens for a reason. So we shouldn't even bother trying to address anything, just understand that it was meant to happen. And so I shouldn't do anything. I should just let everything happen, just be in existence, and just accept everything.
Yeah, well, if we could live that way, we would be a lot happier.
Yeah.
We'd be a lot happier. My guide, Abraham, my guide's name is Abraham, just like Abraham Hicks. Everybody always asks, is it the same as Abraham Hicks? And I'll have to say, yes, sort of. It's the Abraham she met in the beginning when she started. And then my guides fluctuate, and I have all kinds of new guides around me, just as she does. So it's the same guide. Abraham said, he said that he lived to be really what we would consider really old. I think in the Bible, they say that he lived to be, 200 years old or something, 190 years old. And he said that time moved really different back then. He said it was, it would be more like him living 900 years now.
Wow.
And I said, well, what did you look like? Because we live to be, 30 and 40 looking our best, and then we stop looking our best. And he goes, I lived, in looking at the calibration of things moving differently as he's explaining. He's saying, if at around, I lived to be about 270 years old, looking exactly as though I was 30 years old, he said, until, and these are the words that are important, until the desire for things to be different began to kill me.
Wow.
Before the desire of things to be different began to kill.
Oh no!
What is? Oh, this is GD popping in on his other platform. Here you go. But there you go. Finally out of the car, but we're still seeing you in the car somehow on the other. You get closer.
I'm seeing him. I'm seeing him right.
Oh, in the back. He's in the. I could see him in the green room. He's on two separate things back there. Whatever. We'll let him figure that out.
PD, get your shit together, man.
He's looking at that like, oh. And you're Stephen. You're over there. I see you falling asleep again. Don't say I'm not falling asleep. I see your eyes.
I'm not falling asleep.
All right.
I'm listening.
It just froze when you blinked.
I think you are very generous when you say. I think you said we look beautiful until we're 40s. I think mine stopped at 22. That's the last time I remember thinking I look okay. I look okay. But so now are you
still? The desire for that to be different probably kills us too.
I was in a rush to grow up. I was in a rush to grow old, and then I like, wait a minute, slow down. When I saw 30 coming, it was like time to slam on the brakes. But by that time, it was too late. I was already rushing through life, so I'm not really all that thrilled with the way things have turned out. But I got no complaints really. Things have been okay. But
I want to go back to the girlfriend in the beginning.
Yeah,
and I want to say that. For people who may follow along with the Court of Atonement and try it, that those first relationships can be some of the hardest ones for us to get over. I have dealt with a gentleman who he was in his 40s, I think, and he was saying he's failed at everything. Like every business he's tried, he's failed. Every job he's started, he's lost it, and his life has been hard. And psychically, I started to tune into, I said, okay, well, this is coming back to when you were 15 years old. What was going on? And he's like, everything was good in my life. I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, well, a change of school, a divorce in the family. What kind of stressors were there? And he was like, when I was 15, my life was great. Everything was good. And I said, all right, well, I'm seeing a bicycle, and you're riding a bicycle. And he goes, oh. I rode a bicycle to and from school every day throughout my high school years with a girl that I had a crush on who never knew I existed.
Yeah.
And this being this unrequited love caused him to see himself in a bad light. He's not good enough, or she would love him, and put this pessimistic view upon himself caused by this woman. And as soon as we kind of faced that, looked at it, and then used the Court of Atonement to heal some of that pain from the past, he's just skyrocketed and his life changed giant, in huge ways. And so the love, using the Court of Atonement, let's kind of try to explain that a little bit. Again, we're going to talk about my guide Abraham. He says that forgiveness comes from a recipe of 2 ingredients. The first ingredient in forgiveness is understanding what happened. And the second is accepting that explanation. And so let's take a woman who's set the table. She's got dinner already. The candles are lit. Wine is poured. She's waiting for her husband or boyfriend to come home. And the next scene in the movie is the candles are burned down. The food's not eaten. The third, she's on the phone. I don't know what happened. He's not here. He never does anything. She's so worried. The fourth scene is, my last boyfriend pulled this shit, and now she's pissed, right? And she's making up all kinds of things. And she says, all right, well, when she goes into, when he walks in the door, the energy is going to go one of two ways. She's either going to get madder at him, or it's going to be gone. So when he walks in and she says, where were you? Because she's not going to say, honey, where were you? It's been hours. So now she's pissed. Where were you? When she answers that question, he's going to say, if he says to her, well, I went out with the guys and kind of lost track of time. Do you think it's going to get better? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, her answer, because then her answer would be, well, we realize that time is all now. And so you really aren't late. You were already here. I'm just noticing you. That's what her answer would be, because
you
she's
just
so
blew
enlightened.
my mind. Yeah, I am just, I don't know where to go.
So if he walks in the door and he goes, honey, there was a horrible accident. And she'll just go, oh, are you okay?
No, she'll say that's an excuse, not an explanation.
Right. But I mean, if he's concerned for him, if the reason is legitimate, all of the anger is gone, and it doesn't take months of recovery to get over it. If the explanation is understandable and accepted, it's gone. But if it's understandable and not acceptable, the anger's still there. Well, and if they never find out, they never figure it out, and they live in this turmoil for a long time. So I can't say forever, because some people do get over stuff without ever figuring it out, but a lot of people don't.
Acceptance is a weird thing, because cognitively, I can tell myself that I accept it and I have to move past something, but that doesn't mean I've really, to my core, accepted it.
Right. That's the thing, is that there's so many levels of consciousness within the body. The conscious, if there weren't levels of consciousness in the body, then just the desire to go on a diet would work. But it's like, I have made a commitment to go on a diet, and then 10 minutes later found myself eating a donut and went, wait a minute, I just said I wasn't going to do this. But this other level,
acceptance is definitely.
Isn't there a difference between getting over and not paying attention to? I mean, for example, I'm going to use, mother alert. I'm talking about GD's mother. For example, my mother carried grudges to her dying day, but she would, if she hated someone, let's say she didn't like Steven, and she didn't see Steven for like 5 years, and she doesn't see Steven for like 5 years. And she doesn't think about the hatred. It's not like she's gotten over it. She just hasn't seen him for 5 years. And then if my mother were to see him 5 years later, she would remember she doesn't like him for something. She just doesn't remember why she doesn't like him.
She's called me. I'll remind her.
And then she would.
You're psychic. Can you ask his mom if she likes me? Because now I'm a little hurt. Can you just ask his mom if she likes me?
Nobody likes you, Steven. The answer is no.
Well,
no, nobody likes you.
Does she know?
Does she don't need to be?
No.
Let me get Beavers on the phone. Hold on.
In my mind, there's a difference between getting over something and just not paying attention to it.
Right, exactly. And that's what we're talking about, is that at the soul level, what happens with the Court of Atonement is that the two souls get together and they discuss what happened. So we'll go back to the woman, the husband and the wife meet each other in the Court of Atonement, and it says to resolve it at the point of origin. Now, the point of origin isn't that he was late for dinner. The point of origin was when he showed up late for work, the boss tried to fire him, and his whole day went down. He was in this terrible state, and his friends go, "Man, don't take that shit home to your wife. Sorry, I'm cussing. Don't take this home to your wife. Let's take this to let's go out, talk about it, and try to get rid of that." And then she goes, "Oh, I see it." And so then she understands, and it just kind of goes away. The conscious mind never knows what happens in the Court of Atonement. And sometimes it doesn't work. I have to say, be honest, it sometimes just has no effect. But because we all have free will, we can decide to remain angry if we want to.
Yeah.
And so there's no breach of free will. People are always worried, well, am I breaching free will by forcing people to go into the Court of Atonement? No, because their soul, we're just asking the soul to take a look at this and see if they'll deal with it. If they choose not to, it's for your highest and best. Well, it's going to stay.
Here's because you brought up free will, and I just want to know, because this family thing that you described, I think it was your husband's family where they didn't talk to each other for a while, and then you put this out there, and then the next day the phone rings and it's them. Did you ever ask them what made you call?
No, but I did get an opportunity. They all called him on his birthday. And so it was a few weeks later, like 5 weeks later on his birthday, all 5 of his family members called him, where he hadn't heard from any in 10 years. He had called them, and if he forced them, they would put his parents on the phone, and he could talk to his parents for a minute, but they had Alzheimer's, so they never thought to reach out and call. But other than that, there was no real genuine communication between them. And on his birthday, they all called. And then later on, there was a death in the family. They got together and they played like little kids. I mean, they really had fun together. And there were unsurmountable problems that you would say, oh, that's not something that would just go away. And so, but it did. And one of the, one of the other brothers that was harmed, just like my husband had been, I asked him later, I said, so how in the world did you ever forgive your brother? And he goes, I can't believe you brought that up. I would rather have my brother in my life than ever think about that crap again. Let's not even talk about it.
All right. And yeah, that's interesting, because I would definitely want to have that conversation. Now, do those people know that you're on this path of what, I don't know?
No, they did not. And I showed my husband, I typed it all out, because I kind of stenography as I'm doing the channeling. And so I had typed everything that I had said out. And then I said, hey, I tried to do some work for you with your family. And I handed it to him, and he looked at it and went, thanks, honey, and walked off. And then on his birthday, what had happened is on my son's birthday, every member of my family called and wished my son happy birthday. And my husband goes, that's so sweet and wonderful, but it's really sad to me, because on our kids' birthdays, no one on my side calls. And so then on my husband's birthday, the phone rang and every single person called and wished him happy birthday. So he was like, do you think that weird you might have had something to do with this? And I was like, yeah, probably. And I'm a real quick learner, so I never used it again for a year. Then never tried using the Court of Atonement again. And then I was at my mother's house, and there was a big argument going on in the other room. And I asked, I can't sleep. I just said, what can I do to stop this argument? And they said, put our souls in a Court of Atonement, has to resolve the conflict between them. I did it again. And the next day, my mother said, she knows I'm into energy healing and energy work. And she said, what did you do to your brother? And I said, I didn't do anything. We used to throw eggs at each other. I'm like, I didn't do anything. And she goes, no, he's getting along with everybody so well today. I'm sure you must have done something. And I went, oh, I did. I put their souls in a Court of Atonement. It has to resolve the conflict. She goes, can you write that down? I'd like to see it. And I'm like, well, I stenographed the whole thing. I'll send it to you. And that's how it all started. My mom starts she's like, well, would this work for people who have died? As GD, was it GD who said your mother took some of the anger to the grave?
I know she did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can use the Court of Atonement between her and the people she was mad at, and you'll stop that cycle from repeating in your children's lives.
That's why I don't have children. I stopped that cycle already. But no, if whatever my mother took with her, that's her business, not mine. I'm not
it'll help your life, I should say. How about that? It'll help your life if you know where these problems lay in the background. We can put that's what my mother asked, is her mother was really angry at her own mother. And she said, will that help? And this giant volume of energy, it's just a yes answer just comes flying up. The energy was yes. And I said, well, yeah. So she tried it. And then she calls me, she goes, oh my God, I can't sleep. I'm just laying in bed, putting everybody I know in courts of atonement, trying to fix them. And we have this experience where my husband's like, man, I smell cigarette smoke. And we lived in the middle of nowhere in a trailer out in the woods. And Kim goes out
by the river. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say to make the Unabomber look good here. Anyway, my husband goes out and he walks around the trailer and he's like, it's stronger on the inside of the house than it is outside. I can't find anything outside. And that night when I went to bed, I woke up to the smelling like somebody smoking in the room. This isn't a faint smell. This is, I'm smoking in the house. And so I thought, I really had a memory pop into my head of a friend who's a psychic saying, oh, I smell tobacco. I wonder what spirit wants to get my attention. And so I have that thought. And I thought, is somebody trying to get my attention? And again, this big blast of energy, yes. Not really somebody saying anything, just yes. And then I thought, who is it? And in my mind's eye, I saw a photograph of my grandfather who died when I was 11, and it sits on the piano at my mom's house. I see that image, and I went, oh, is this Grandpa Richards who's trying to get my attention? Again, the energy, yes. And I said, well, what can I do for you? And he said, and I want to demystify spirituality a bit. It's a thought. It's not a voice in my head. It's a thought. And the thought went, tell your mother thank you for the prayers. Tell her thank you for the prayers, and apologize to your father for me. Tell him I apologize that things were not better between us when he was a little boy. Ask him to pardon me for that. Not forgive me, pardon me for that. And now my dad didn't believe a word of what I was saying, so this was going to be a fun conversation. So I do the next best thing, which is call mom. And I called my mom and said, hey, and I tell her the whole story. And my mom goes, oh, I put your father and his father in a court of atonement yesterday. And so Ken smelled the smoke. It was two of us in the room. And I was like, to me, like my hair stood up. I had three thoughts at once. One is that my grandfather really did visit me. I'm not crazy, because I really do doubt this stuff. I doubt it every day, just as you do. And then the second thought was the Court of Atonement works. And the third thought was I can teach it to other people and it'll work for them too, because it worked for her.
Wow. Excuse me one second. Somebody's reaching out for my
Are you high right now?
Not yet. I have a show to after this. I'm sorry. What do you have a question?
How do you with having a psychic episode or you're having a psychic situation versus just a lucky guess, or maybe just heated up, smells from the carpet or the walls, or like how do you know the difference between the two?
Again, with the cigarette smoke, it smelled like somebody smoking in the room. It wasn't like some faint lingering thing. And usually just a little investigation tells me one way or the other. And you're right. I'm trying to tell you, there isn't a person on this planet that isn't psychic. There isn't. It just isn't possible. We've all had those moments. We're all being guided. I say that and I can feel that it's not quite right. The people who don't believe they're guided get what they believe, so they don't get any guidance. But if you believe that something's out there, that there's a greater good that's working for you, then that steps forward. If you believe that the world is a dangerous place and that you can't mess with this because you're going to be misled, then you're going to be misled, because it really does follow our thoughts and our beliefs.
Well, along those lines, what if, and there is a lot of this, and I think I probably fall into this somewhere on this spectrum here, of believing there's both good and evil out there. There are real forces, good and evil. Now, some people might call that God and the devil or whatever. Yeah. But actual forces of good and evil both exist. And so, what do I get then? I get the
you get both, just like I do. I believe that they both exist, but I do know that when I wasn't paying any attention to that and was only putting my focus on the good, that it was a lot easier for me to connect to that good energy without that fear drawing the other stuff forward.
The bad stuff seems so much more fun, though. I think Billy Joel, I'd rather die with the sinners than cry with the saints. Sinners have so much more fun. I think that this is applied. This is why.
Yeah, well, the thing is that we've mentally made things like drinking bad. We have determined what we consider bad based basically on religion and what their thing is. And let's go to the Native Americans and using peyote and using other things that they're acceptable, and they're this higher. Maybe there's more fun to be had if we would look at things differently.
Yeah. But then if you adopt that idea that anything is okay, it's just what humans put on, and I'm not, you didn't just say that, but
I didn't say that.
But there are people who have been on this program that say everything is a moral judgment and based on our beliefs of what right and wrong are, and that like the stuff Steven does then is okay. That's not good. That's not good. Because we all know Steven.
You've been a sounding board today.
Well, he's quiet because he knows he's guilty. In the court of atonement, court of anything, court of whatever the court he goes to, child abuse or whatever he does.
No, here's the thing. I'm a huge skeptic when it comes to psychics.
You're definitely huge.
I'm definitely huge. But I find most of it, in my opinion, I just find most of it to be BS. And somebody on who was meaner because you're so nice, and I don't want to be mean, so I wish you'd bring on somebody meaner.
I want to tell you that I'm a big skeptic of psychics as well, because they're not all created equal. And I try to tell people that our guides are not created equal either. And so people are like, oh, I'm tuned in, I'm talking to my guide. Well, if you're, those voices in the head of the people who are criminally insane, they're being guided by that, are they not? Yeah. So our guide's always good. No, the word hell no comes to mind. So what I've talked about doing something to try to make a genuine contact in a way that I'm bringing good information forward. Now, what I'm doing would be called like a spiritual channel more than mediumship, where mediumship is where they're bringing through loved ones. Now, I definitely can do that, but that's a different channel. And I watched you where you were talking with the ghost helper, Tina Irwin, not too long ago. And you asked her a question about like, how come some people see ghosts and the other people in the same room, they don't see that. And so she gave you what's true for her, and she's correct. But what I want to give you another like hypothesis to think about. And you said about time and everything happening all at once, and it would be overwhelming, correct? If all 3,000 of your shows were playing at once, it'd be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, right now, how many radio station frequencies are flying through the air between us right now? And our radio receiver could pick them up.
Well, just a rough guess, about 500,000.
Right, and they're all going on, but you have to be tuned to that frequency. The tuner has to be tuned to that frequency to pick it up. And So what I see happening with people who see ghosts, for instance, is that they have an emotional frequency that's going on. What happens usually is that the person who has a similar problem that the ghost had, they become a match to it, and they can see them because their frequency is matched like a radio station. Wow. And the other person standing next to them doesn't have that. So let's think like emotions as a combination lock. We've got anger, and we've got betrayal, and we've got frustration. So this person will have these three emotions buried deep inside them. That's the same thing going on with the ghost. The people who don't have those three emotions working won't see them. And so that's what I have figured out through the years of asking questions and writing down the answers.
Well, with this quarter, first of all, this whole thing sounds magical, right? So, I mean, if I have to say this out loud, or can I just think these quarter?
You can say it. You can say it in your thoughts. It does work that way. It's better to say it out loud, because when we say things out loud, we're thinking about them, getting purpose behind them, and there's more magnitude and volume to it. Have you ever been reading something and then lost concentration and didn't finish?
Yeah, all the time.
Right. But we usually finish our thoughts, getting our thoughts out when we're speaking. Right. And so that's the reason it's better to say them out loud. You can, with purpose, do them in your mind, and they still will work.
All right. Now, the court, because you're using your guides gave you this analogy of the court. Is there two sides? Because in court, in even conflict resolution, in this level, in this plane, the human physical level here, courts have two sides, and there is somebody arguing one side and the other side. Is that part of this equation?
Yes, they're talking through what happened and help. Maybe not talking, because I think they use more imagery and showing each other what happened.
Right.
And they go, oh, that happened because of this. Have you ever just been walking along and all of a sudden you go, oh, I understand what happened to her. I suddenly get it. I get it. You know what I mean? Where you've had a problem with a person, and then all of a sudden you saw beyond what just happened. You go, oh, I know what happened there. She was still angry because of that. Oh, I know what this is. That epiphany is basically the results that the Court of Atonement bring about. That just is kind of an epiphany.
I would seem to think that if we're considering this and translating this literally, that they're being shown like images and so forth. If, for example, two people were to be in the Court of Atonement, and one was a rapist and the other was a victim, to be shown those images again, so you can discuss what happened.
Yeah,
it would be something I just, to me, it would just be unfathomable.
Okay, so understand that it would be at the soul level, not the conscious level of the person, and not the physical body reliving it. And it would be that if it was a rapist, that whoever was being raped would be the rapist, and the rapist would be being raped. They would see it from the other person's perspective.
Wow.
They would feel the damage that they did.
Okay, but if it's
you got that,
on the soul level, if it's on the soul level and they're not feeling on the physical level, then it's the person, the rapist on the physical plane isn't going to feel that.
No.
Right. So basically, what you're going to have,
and an understanding of not doing that again comes into the body.
But then the soul should have known. The soul should have known that rape was wrong to begin with, and have reached out to him before he became a rapist.
Oh, that doesn't work that way. They're not puppet masters. They just let us have free will. They have free will.
If the soul can reach to the individual after the fact and say, "This is what it feels like to be raped," then the soul could also say, "This is what it's like to be raped. Don't be a rapist."
Right. Well, we have to live this life independently of all the other knowledge that the soul already has.
Right.
And now that it's been brought to that attention, that's why it's being taken back. Again, there's no giant epiphany on the level of the rapist, where the rapist goes, "Oh, you know what? I don't think I'll ever do that again." He just loses interest. But the world's a better place because of it.
So in this paradigm, do the religious concepts of heaven and hell exist after life?
To some degree, yes, but it's of our own construction. It's basically what we believe in this life. What we're going to see is what we do see. And so people who even the rapists and the people who totally shun life, they're walking around and they do say, see you in hell, right? And they do have this belief. Now, no one sentences us there. There is no sentencing us there. There's just this belief that we don't deserve the other and that we deserve this, and then we construct it. But, we do that with our own lives. We construct our own lives exactly. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Oversimplifying, I understand.
I just want to say that there's been far too much rape in this conversation for my comfort level.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Usually we talk about Stephen in terms of that, but I could see maybe like an entire student body ganging up on him to get back at him and for what he's done to all these kids. But that's a whole other. We'll address that at another time.
Well, as far as I know, Stephen's an angel, but so was Lucifer.
He's an angel?
I said, but so was Lucifer, so that doesn't mean much.
Oh, an angel.
Yeah,
what does that say? What does that say about frogs behind you there, Stephen?
What'd you say?
What's making the frogs gay?
Oh.
Now the frogs are gonna have a word with you in the Court of Atonement. The frogs are angry about it. It's an interesting thing. It's just the court says the idea of a court puts in my mind that even though I'm looking for resolution and trying to let go of something, there's a prosecutor on the other side that not so fast. Let's go back and look at the tape.
It isn't a prosecutor. It's just the other guy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just the other guy, and he's going, no, not so fast. And it does happen that way.
I just want to say it wasn't a guy. It wasn't a guy, okay? I'm sure it wasn't a guy.
It wasn't a guy. It was a girl. There's another girl. Sorry.
Yes, it was a girl. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, let's go back and just say, for the people who are listening and they're interested in it, it's just a sentence. It's a paragraph, but it's 2 sentences. It's not huge. And it's just, you state your full name. So if you want to try it, I want you to think about the person you're upset with right now. If you think about that person, notice how your energy is when you think about them. And your energy plummets or whatever, notice that if it goes down. And what expression you see on their face when you think about them. Then try the Court of Atonement and we'll think about them again. So I state your name in your head, full name. Place myself, and now you're going to say your name again because we're saying who we're putting in, and we're doing us. So place myself into a full Court of Atonement and say the other person's name now. I ask to analyze our timelines and resolve any and all conflicts between us at their points of origin. And a little tweak, I ask for amenable dissolution of this energy. And take a deep breath, kind of blow out, and now think about that person again. Does it feel the same as it did before? I'm alone.
Well, this is very weird. What's going on here?
What's happening?
I don't know. The results of the Court of Atonement are now in.
Holy crap. Something magical just happened there. That bizarre. We came back in different places and all that stuff. I don't know if the audience just watched that.
I'm the only one who remained the same.
No, you were out of the picture as far as I
was the only one in the room. I was the only person that was left in the room when it went down. Wow. And I'm like, okay, I'm alone in here. And then it popped back up.
Earlier, when Matt was trying to move things around, and I tried to move things, because he said he couldn't, so I tried to move things around. And when I touched the screen, I got a message from StreamYard that says we're having technical difficulties and we cannot perform that function at this time. So I guess
maybe we're just working on stuff.
Right, yeah. So coincidentally, yeah.
But right now, there's so many people that I am at conflict with living people who that I'm having a problem. So when you did that little exercise, I was having difficulty concentrating on one because there
well,
are a lot
hopefully all of them showed up.
Yeah,
but I would sit with it and just repeat it with myself and that person and ask to resolve the conflict. And you really have to be, the times when the Court of Atonement doesn't work is when people are really caught up in their story. They're really invested in how they were wronged. And they walk around retelling that story over and over, and they're not willing to get over it. They think they are, but they're not. And we all know that guy, don't we? We all know that girl. They get really caught up in the story. So so working on ones that you kind of feel like a little bit over with first, you'll see bigger changes when you're not feeling quite as invested in. But again, it was 5 weeks before that first one showed up. It was 24 hours when the second one, or not even, it was 7 hours by the time the second one showed up. It was 3 a.m. when I did the call to solve the fight in the other room. The argument in the other room it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And then when I got up the next morning at 10 o'clock, my mom's going, "Hey, everything's so much better. What happened?" Now, obviously, wasn't a good
3 o'clock at the witching hour. I just in case nobody knows.
Yeah, well, they were certainly bewitched. They were hexing each other all over the place.
We have to kind of wrap this up, but I am just curious. This is like at a left field here. But you still write music and sing?
I haven't written much since this all came down, but I still sing. I've got guitars all over the place, and I'm.
Well, here's where I'm going with this, because I've been forever wondering about the creative process. It's one of my one of my topics that I'm really interested in, and I go back to the Beatles film Get Back that Peter, whatever his name, the Australian guy, put together, and you get to look at Paul McCartney's creative process, and it looked like almost described like what you describe as talking to a guide. Like he's getting this information, he's getting the words to his songs from somewhere out there, and it's just like pulling it in. Was that part of your songwriting?
Yes, and that's what probably opened that channel, that so to speak, for me to be talking to them. If you listen to Deepak Chopra, he talks about falling into the gap. You want to get into the gap between thoughts.
The Thompson twins, did they fall into the gap?
And so you go between, if you fall into the gap with your thoughts, well, that's how I always wrote songs. I would say, all right, well, where should I take this? And then I'd get really quiet, and I wouldn't I could go here, I could go there. No, it would be just go real quiet. And then I'd write down the first thought that would kind of come through, the first thought. Then I'd look at that. And sometimes I would argue with it. I'd be like, this isn't this. I don't know how much time you have, but I was supposed to write a song for church the next morning, and it was a religious science church, which is more of a metaphysical church, and I was supposed to write a song for church, and her speech was on the title of the song just left my brain. Anyway, I was supposed to go follow this title, "Remember Who You Are." And I was fiddling around with my guitar, and I came up with a line, and I said, "One day when I had fallen from a branch in our plum tree." And I thought, that is so cute. That's so cute and so clever. I wrote it down, and I went, but it has nothing to do with remembering who you are. I can't write that song right now. So I went, okay, where do I go? And the next line came through. My mom reached up and picked a plum and handed it to me. And I went, wait a minute. This is really cute, but it has nothing to do with this other song. And I kept arguing with it, and the song kept coming through. And so, but it ended up to be the song, "Remember Who You Are." I just had to shut up and get out of the way and let it go. Wow. So, and I did this at I showed this process at an event and got a standing ovation when the line "Remember Who You Are" did come through. They were like, whoa, okay, no, it does work. So I can grab a guitar and sing it to you next time.
Right. Well, we appreciate you coming on here this morning. Courtofatonement.com. For people who are interested, there are 4 booklets this one that Understanding the Court of Atonement is the latest booklet available, and you can get them there. I do have to get to a concert because time is real in my world, and I have to get, it's an hour and a half away, and I have to get packed up and get ready to go. So I appreciate you coming on this morning. I'm not sure we really understand this thing. I'll be honest.
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I just have one question. I meant to actually I asked it earlier, but I guess.
Get to it, man. Get to it. Come on. Time is
Amy Jo, because you said Amy is your mother. Are you a junior, and that's why you go by Amy Jo?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
I was named after my grandmother, my great grandmother, the day of her funeral. My mother was also named after her, which caused all the problems.
You don't see a lot of women doing that. No. Name the kid after mom thing. Men do it more often. Name your son after yourself, but I don't.
Now, is it called? I mean, but you're not a junior, even though you're named after your mother. They do that with men. Men are juniors or seniors and first and second and third. So is it just Amy Jo the third or Amy Jo the fifth?
It's just Amy Jo, and mom is Amy. Although she's Amy Jo too, they just don't use the Jo.
Right. Okay.
I'll just wrap this up by saying that the idea of this, it's almost like an incantation to recite this thing, makes it feel like a magical thing, and that's where it kind of.
It is. Well, it is. It isn't a magical thing. It's a spiritual thing.
I'm not sure what the difference is, and we tried to.
Magic is pulling a rabbit out of a hat and out of thin air. But spiritual is the idea that your subconscious mind, so to speak, can talk to the subconscious mind of another person.
Okay.
And just make the decision or not.
All right.
Without a telephone.
Link is in the description for people who want to know more and follow up with Amy and Amy Jo. I'm sorry, and get the books, man. Thanks for being here. I gotta kind of run. We'll see if these guys want to fight with chat room people.
It was really fun, and I love the way you interview and the questions that you throw out. That's the reason I wanted to come in. I was like, oh, you're awesome.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome back anytime. So keep that in mind. Thanks. Bye for now. Seems like you guys got some things going on with the chat room people. I do have to kind of pack up and get ready. Do you know Hack Ride Studios? I don't know if I know this person or not. I don't think I do, but I think I read somewhere overnight there was a comment on one of the YouTube things where he dressed HP, and HP used to be Hank Porter. But how would
I thought it was Hewlett Packard. I guess I'm even older than you.
Yeah, that too. But how would this person know? I don't know who Hack Ride Studios is, but some of the things that they were saying in here, I don't think anybody turned to Jello when Blind Mike was here. Listen, I thought Blind Mike was a good guy. I was never looking for a fight with him. I was hoping you would fight with him a little bit, but
we matched his energy is what we did.
I never pretended to be angry with him or want to fight with him or confrontation. I even reached out to him pretty much in real time during some of the shows. My comments are there, and yes, sometimes I did laugh, and and sometimes I think what they do is, I laugh at stupid stuff as well as stuff that's outright funny. I'm not saying that everything I laugh at is like hilarious. Sometimes I laugh at stuff that's just stupid. It doesn't. But again, it's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that.
Do you understand what he's asking you to apologize for?
I don't even give a shit what he's asking me to apologize for.
No, but do you know what it is?
I think here's the problem. Like for example, when Blind Mike was on the show, I said that I was watching some of the stuff, and sometimes I laugh out loud. And one night I was laughing so hard I woke up my wife. And my wife, right. And I was saying how my wife does not like anyone that criticizes me. And I never said that my wife laughed. I laughed. And I woke up my wife and I felt bad that I woke her up and I told her who I was watching. But I never said my wife laughed. But when Mike
I think you did.
I don't think I said my wife laughed.
I think you did. I think you said she enjoyed. Maybe I'm imagining this, but I think you said that she enjoys anybody who kind of rips at you or something. I think.
No,
Steven, does that ring a bell with you, or you were sleeping during that part?
No,
it doesn't really ring a bell. No, I don't look.
Well, let me just finish.
I'm just kind of dumbfounded. I'm just dumbfounded by all these people being so fucking butthurt over words and names. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, grow up.
Okay, now I'm just gonna finish my thought. When Mike did his version of it, he says, "I like GD and his wife. They both laughed. My wife did not laugh."
I think he did say that she did.
I don't think I said that. I'm almost positive, because if I said my wife laughed, then I'd be lying, or really I'd be misrepresenting. My wife never laughed at anything Blind Mike said.
Well, it's possible you just misspoke, but I'm pretty sure you did.
I doubt that I misspoke, because I tried very, very hard to.
What day was this? That was No, it was last Friday, right?
Probably.
Oh, no. Yeah, last Friday.
It was a Friday.
Yeah.
So
I think it was last Friday when Blind Mike showed up, I guess, but
right. So I doubt very seriously that I said that my wife laughs. I said that I laugh, and I told my wife why I was laughing. My wife doesn't know why I watch these things. She doesn't get it. She doesn't think it's funny at all.
And this Hack Ride Studios is way off base here, saying, don't worry about what this comment here. I'm going to read it here. It said, don't worry, Lee, tomorrow they will talk shit about you, even though they say they like you today. I do like her, but I will say, and I said this too, it all sounds like magical thinking to me, but that's not our brand. I don't think you know anything about us. You are obviously a fanboy with an emotional attachment to Blind Mike. I have said several times, even before Blind Mike was on the program, that I think he's a good guy. I don't have a problem. And some of the things he said, I thought were very accurate of analysis of me, of GD, of all this stuff. I don't disagree with them. To say that's our brand, you don't know shit about what we talk about here every day. You are emotionally attached. And your feelings got hurt because you heard something that you perceived negative about the person you're a fan of. So, no, I think Amy Jo is a very nice person. I think she probably believes in, and I don't get this difference between magical and spiritual. I think anything when you talk about souls, spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to do, that's on the same level of magic. I have no problem saying that to her, and I think she was fine with hearing that. I don't know where you get that from.
I mean, even as far as what I said, I think she was nice too, but I told her I don't believe in it. I think it's all fraudulent. I don't believe in it. But
you believe in anything?
Not be mean to her.
I'm not saying this to attack you. I'm just kind of. Do you believe in anything? Because I don't know if I believe in anything. There are moments I do and moments I don't. Do you believe in anything?
I've experienced things that I can't exactly explain, but I don't know for sure if I can put 100% belief into anything like that, just because I haven't experienced
100%. I wouldn't even say 10%. I mean,
it's hard for me to put a whole lot into it without experiencing it. Like I'm very much I have to experience it to believe.
It's hard for me to put any energy into even thinking about when you say time doesn't exist. That is like counter to everything. You could say how we measure it is probably a man-made construction. But
I think, like I said, it's like when people talk about God and we don't have a unified definition of God. We don't have a unified definition of time. I think some people are using time and duration as interchangeable, and they're not. I think if we came up with a unified definition of time, we might come closer to some kind of agreement about this kind of stuff. But and the fact, or even what they mean by soul, existing beyond time. What they mean by soul.
I kind of wanted to ask her to define that, but things.
I mean, because I know as a former minister, we had these discussions, and like I said, whenever we encountered people who were supposedly psychics and so forth, we tested them. See, can you duplicate what you say you do? And we read them up. And as a result of us testing all these things, I have seen some things I still cannot explain. And I'm not so arrogant to say that these things don't exist. I am arrogant enough to say that I do not believe in this anthropomorphic God, white guy in the sky with a beard. I'm arrogant enough to say that, but that there isn't something.
Are you high right now?
Not yet. Matter of fact, I probably won't be high for another few days. I have writing to do. I don't write when I'm high.
That's just weak.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out right now. So
out. You're out.
Yeah, like last night I was writing something, and after I thought I was finished, and I sent it off, emailed it out. I got in bed and I went, "Fuck! I missed a whole. I didn't explain such and such." And now if they've read it, they're like, "Okay, is this guy retarded? He just sent us this, and he missed something." So now I have to go back and fix it and say, "I'm sorry, I missed the sentence, even though I'm writing this myself. I missed something."
Huh. All right, I guess I got to pack up and get to a gig because I do. Time does exist for me, and I have to be on time or else.
And time is money.
Are you a retard?
Sort of. But that's neither here nor there. Tomorrow there's a show, right? But you guys are doing it without me. I don't know if you have a guest.
Oh, God damn it!
Maybe you could have Hack Ride on.
That's what I was about to say. Hack Ride. If you are so willing, I will send you the link, and you can be on the show tomorrow and air your grievances.
Yeah,
if you like.
If you could explain to me what that HP was, because if you're talking about Hank Porter, I just want to know even how you.
I think it's Hewlett Packard. I'm almost positive.
And also, please don't come in here with this having to be nice to people because they're blind or crippled and all that bullshit. That shit doesn't fly here either.
Come
in with real arguments and back shit.
Wait, no, I didn't see anything about you have to be nice to people if they have a disability or.
No, he did up here. He said. Let's see here. Where was it at?
I didn't read that. I mean, I didn't read it. Literally.
He said something about when Blind Mike came in the room, he can't even see you guys, and you guys just turned into Jello and blah 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 blah. It's like, well, who fucking cares if he can't see us? It doesn't make a difference.
I thought he could see us. He's only legally blind. I thought he could see somewhat.
I'm getting mixed messages about that too. I don't know.
That again, that speaks to fanboyism. Listen, you could perceive. And I definitely, I perceive what Blind Mike was doing as negative analysis, and he didn't bring that to the table when he was here. You know what? I'm not kissing anybody's ass. I think Blind Mike is a good guy. He seems like a good guy. He seems like a smart guy, and I didn't necessarily disagree with anything he said, whether it was about GD or me. I was no reason for me to be like, "Oh, you're a dick." I'm not gonna say that to the guys. I actually like him.
Yeah, and like he's entitled to his opinion, and if he doesn't think I'm funny, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. He's not the only person on the planet who doesn't think I'm funny. Okay, there are people in my own family who don't think I'm funny. Okay, that's not a problem. The only issue I had with him, two issues, and I addressed both of them. I believe one is that he started with the premise that the show he was watching, the material I was doing was like my references were 5 years old and they were not. It was 2016 when I recorded it, 2016 when I posted it the first time, plain and simple. And the fact that if you dissect something every 13 seconds, you're going to.
Well, Foulmouth is saying he didn't even know you were a comedian. I'm just going to have to say right now he doesn't call himself a comedian. He calls himself a humorist.
Right, I'm a humorist. I'm not a comedian. I'm a humorist, and there's a difference.
I'm not bald. I'm follically challenged.
I'm not fat. I'm just fluffy.
Yeah.
Well, no. See now, you guys are dissing my rep. You're dissing my reputation. Huh?
Andy Croizon to the stage, please. Andy Croizon to the stage.
If you're performing in a comedy club, you're a comedian.
Yes.
You're a comedian. Sorry.
No, because you could be performing in a comedy club and
comedy
be a mime.
Clubs don't hire humorists; they hire comedians.
And that's why I don't correct them often.
That's right.
But it's important. It's important to me when I do what I do, because there's a difference. It's like someone saying I'm a unicyclist. Oh no, I'm a bicyclist. Okay, there's a difference. Even though you're both pedaling and you're both on a wheel, you're both pedaling one wheel. The other wheel just happens to go.
If you enter a bicycle race, you're on a bicycle. It doesn't matter if it's one wheel or not. If you enter a comedy club to perform comedy, you're a comedian.
But if you're a unicyclist, even if that is your profession, you go to the circus and you perform on a unicycle. That's what you are. You're a unicyclist.
You go out riding with your family and they all have bicycles and you ride a bike. It does not stop you from being a unicyclist because you're on a bicycle.
So
yes, I do. Yes.
We're wrapping this up because I got to go. And you can continue on if you want without me. But a hack ride, if you are so adamant about calling people stuff and come on, accept GD's invitation to come on tomorrow. I won't be here. I'm going to start the thing tomorrow, but I do have a show to do tomorrow morning. But you know what? If you want to, you're in people's face. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Come on, you've been invited to show your face and talk face to face with these guys. You got a problem with?
Yeah, and you obviously know how to get a hold of me. You know, my email is just about every fucking where. You obviously know my website, So GD Funny, because y'all mock my name, So GD Funny. That's what's not my name my website. So you know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Or I will send you the link, and you can
put your mouth where your mouth is, or your money where your money is, or both.
No.
I gotta go.
Hey, later, peace, my man.
Right.
Is it time to play the music, or you just walking out and me and Steve and I get to play
I'll
the music?
play the music and end this thing. Put it out of its misery.
Okay.
Go to Amy.
See you tomorrow, GD.
All right.
All right.
Later.
Finish in sight.
If I'm not vaping, I'm raping.
Walk around nappy. What you wanna do, baby? It's on
me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.